day 2 of the Take Flight PadSplit Challenge. For those of you guys who attended yesterday and who are back today, thank you so much for coming back. We're actually going to get into some deep diving on the underwriting and market analysis for pad splits. So before I get started, I would like to ask you guys to drop a comment in the comment section if today is your first day and what is the most important thing for you to take away from today's Zoom. Don't forget, we're actually going to be doing a Q&A live session at the very end. So any questions, my team member, Matt, will actually be writing down and saving them. That way we'll go over all your questions at the very end. Matt is here. I want to thank him again for really running all the back end stuff and the marketing. I really couldn't do it without him. And he's actually put all of us in this room. So Matthew Lopez will be in the chat. He'll be chiming in. He'll be assisting. He'll be dropping links. So make sure you guys' eyeballs are on this chat because there's going to be links that he drops in there that are very pertinent to what we're going to be discussing. So do me a favor. If today's your first day and you're just tuning in, drop a 1 in the comments. Drop a 2 in the comments if this is your second day attending. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys have a couple seconds just to drop those numbers in the chat. Julie, welcome back. Thank you so much for attending. Andrew, man, good to see you. I know you just got back from the Owners Club. I'm sure that was awesome. Amount of support for landlords, especially marketing the rooms. Absolutely, Georgiana, you're absolutely right. PadSplit does that. Guys, in the comments for you guys just coming in, drop a 1 if today's your first day on the 3-day PadSplit challenge, and drop a 2 if you're returning. I'm going to give you guys a couple seconds to do that. Thank you guys coming back so much, Georgiana, guys. All right. Today is going to be an awesome day. Another thing, again, just a reminder, we are doing a 10-point giveaway. So my team is going to be monitoring the individuals who are interacting, right? Interacting means cameras on, asking questions, raising your hand, being interactive, trying to collaborate with other people in the chat. So we bring all you guys in this room so you guys can do deals together as well. Not only just see me underwrite, but I want you guys to collaborate with each other as well. So you're going to get 10 extra points because we're giving a giveaway tomorrow on day 3. At the very end of day 3, we're actually doing a giveaway for you guys. So if you want to participate in that, make sure that you, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Real Javier Paredes, and make sure you follow me on Instagram, The Real Javier Paredes. And if you get any value out of anything I'm saying today, let me know by actually snapping a picture of our Zoom and posting and tagging me on your storyline on Instagram. So I'm going to jump right in, guys, today. Today is day 2 of the Take Flight Challenge. I'm so excited that you guys are all here. We're actually going to be deep diving into market analysis and underwriting. I think this is the moment that everybody has been waiting for. We actually spoke about some things yesterday. I'm going to actually do a really quick recap of what we spoke about yesterday. Just in case you missed yesterday, no worries. I'm going to do a quick recap. And again, at the very end, we're actually going to be doing a live Q&A. So make sure you guys stick in for the live Q&A. That way you can get all your questions answered. Matt's going to be copying and pasting your questions. So if I can't get to them right away as I'm going through the sequence of today's challenge, then we will answer them at the very end. So we want to make this interactive. So just make sure you guys have your cameras on, you're asking questions, and you're letting me know what is the biggest takeaway you want to be able to take away from today's challenge. If you had a takeaway from yesterday, in the comment section, please put it in the comments. Give me one takeaway that you had yesterday from yesterday's challenge. Drop it in the comment section. And we're going to go ahead and get this bad boy started right now, guys. So again, thank you guys, everybody, for coming on day 2 and tuning in. I do see a lot of familiar faces and you guys returning. The familiar faces that I see today, I think, again, everybody's been waiting for is the underwriting and deal analysis. And so we're going to get in some of the meat and potatoes there. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. All right. So Perfect. All right. So let me go ahead and just do a really quick recap. Okay. We want to make sure that things are really sticking in you guys' brain and we're taking actionable steps. So to start out, everyone, you should have signed up for PadSplit. If you can drop the link in the side chat, make sure you guys have signed up for PadSplit. You have to sign up for PadSplit because a lot of the things that I'm talking about, if you don't have PadSplit, and you don't have to have a property to sign up, by the way. If you don't have PadSplit, you're not going to be able to use the resource tab that I'm going to tell you that you're going to need to use for today's session. Okay. So make sure you sign up. Matt's going to drop the link in there for you guys in just a second. But yesterday we talked about what is PadSplit. PadSplit is a marketplace for co-living. Whether you're doing this entirely without PadSplit or you're using PadSplit as a marketplace to actually house your property and advertise your property, it's both co-living, right? So a lot of people get confused and they're like, oh, well, I'm doing co-living, I'm not doing PadSplit. Well, you're actually doing, they're both co-living. It's just PadSplit has monetized and streamlined and has created a marketplace for individuals who are single and want to rent a bedroom and that have no families. They're able to rent the bedroom. And just to be clear, you're actually able to have a family. You just can't bring your family, your girlfriend, your boyfriend back to the room. It's only for single individuals. And as we know, we're actually in a crisis right now. There's affordable housing problem. You have two different types of affordability problems. You got housing for families, that is an issue. And then you also have housing issues for single individuals, people who just graduated or people who are older and maybe who can't make ends meet at their 9 to 5. So this is what PadSplit has done. They have solved the affordability. They're helped solving the affordability for a lot of counties and cities right now. Okay. And so what we talked about yesterday was what PadSplit is and the introduction of what PadSplit. So make sure you go and in the comments right now, you'll see Matt just pasted the PadSplit sign up. So sign up there if you haven't signed up already, because I want you guys to be able to follow along. Okay. We also talked about yesterday, how do you get a property, an existing floor plan of, let's say, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and convert it into a 6-bedroom, 7-bedroom, 8-bedroom. Okay. We talked about what that looked like a little bit, and I'm going to get more in depth in that later on, but we just kind of surface level and talked about that a little bit. The key thing here, guys, is I want you guys to understand what PadSplit is, and I think everybody has a good understanding. Do me a favor, just for 1 second. If you don't have an understanding of what PadSplit is, please drop it in the comments right now so I know you don't know what PadSplit is. Everybody by now, if you attended yesterday, you should be very familiar with PadSplit, and you should have already signed up for the PadSplit logins with whatever credentials that you're going to use. Okay. You don't have to have a property. Okay. It's just for you to be able to use their resource tab on their platform. All right, cool. So no one has said anything. So I'm assuming everybody understands what PadSplit is, the key concepts, and what the introduction that I did yesterday and how everything makes sense. Today is day 2 of the PadSplit challenge, and we are going to be deep diving on a couple things. One is buy box. Okay. Why is it super essential to create your buy box? We all know as real estate investors that you are going to get blown up by wholesalers with deals if you give them your information. So for instance, a lot of wholesalers will say, hey, let me add you to my buyers list. Well, even though that you give them your email, typically, if you don't have a really, really good relationship with them, or you're not buying deals, or you haven't done 1 or 2 deals, they're just going to throw you out there in their CRM. You're going to get hit with tons of deals, just like they send out these mass emails, right? So it's important for you to create a buy box, because one of the major things that I actually see people doing and real estate investors do is they rush into a deal. And rushing into a deal can cost you a lot of time and a lot of money. So what you're going to learn today is how essential it is to create a buy box. And if you don't create a buy box, it's like walking in a forest without a map, right? I want you to think of it like that. So make sure that you have the buy box, and we're going to create your buy box. And actually, matter of fact, today, another thing that we're talking about alongside buy box is right here. I'm going to highlight buy box. Number 2 is what we're talking about is analyzing market trends and deal underwriting. Okay. This is a huge subject. I know a lot of you guys really want to learn. Well, we're going to be deep diving about this today. And by the way, if anyone in this Zoom right now has a property that they actually want me to analyze with them, we'll bring you up. We'll analyze that together. We'll underwrite it together. We'll look at the market together. So make sure you drop the address in the chat and we'll grab that. We'll bring you up on the stage and we'll talk through that deal together and we'll underwrite that deal together. I already have a market that we spoke about yesterday, which was Jacksonville. I have that market pulled up and I'm going to show you step by step by step by step, all the tools, all the resources that I'm using to analyze that in particular market and how I analyze all markets. Okay. What you're going to learn today, everything you're going to learn today, you can actually utilize in all markets. So we're going to be talking about that. At the end of that, we're going to actually wrap up everything with a Q&A session. Okay. So if you have questions, make sure you save them for the end, or if it's something that I'm particularly talking about and you have a question, I'll try to answer that right on the spot. But we're going to be moving through this, guys, today. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. So if you have a question, Matt's going to be copying and pasting them and putting them at the very bottom of the agenda. A reminder, you guys yesterday should have received an email with the 3-day agenda. If you don't have the email, please check your spam folders and unmark it or mark it as not spam. If you don't have the agenda, drop in the comments that you don't have the agenda, 3-day agenda, and Matt will email you the 3-day agenda because we want you guys to follow along. So after we wrap up, I'll do the Q&A. And then I also want to talk about, again, for people who are just getting in, looks like we had a few people enter the room. For the people who are interactive, we had a lot of people yesterday. They tagged me in their stories on Instagram. Great job. You guys have gotten 10 points individuals, right? Individual have gotten 10 points. At tomorrow, we're going to do a giveaway as well, okay? So make sure you're chiming in, you got your cameras on, and make sure you're like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram, okay? Super important for you guys to be able to participate into this giveaway that we're doing here. You'll see at the bottom, all right? So I'm going to go into today's, let's see, boom, boom. Let me go. Let's go right up here. All right. So you're going to get this student guide, by the way. A lot of you guys are probably like, hey, how do I get this student guide? You guys will be getting this, I believe, at the end of today or tomorrow. We'll be sending you every single student guide, so you don't have to ask for it, okay? But I want to start talking about once you have your buy box set. Let's talk about buy box for a second. Right here, guys, is actually my physical buy box. And why is it important for you to be able to create a buy box? Well, you want to make sure that it helps you utilize and make a sound decision on your investment. So for instance, you can imagine, I've been in the real estate game for 10 years now. I get flooded with deals on a daily basis. I would have to have so much manpower to analyze every single deal. So how do you create and move and filter all the noise out? It's by creating a buy box. And why is it super essential to create a buy box? Because depending on the different exit strategy you're going to utilize in your investing career, you need to create a buy box. So every exit strategy has a different buy box. For instance, for PadSplit, this is my PadSplit buy box. I'm going to go over that really quick with you guys. You guys heard me. The markets that I'm in are Orlando. I live in Orlando. Why do I want to purchase in Orlando? It's pretty simple. I have teams here with boots on the ground already that I have cultivated. So if you're a newbie and you're thinking about real estate investing, you probably want to stay in your backyard, meaning in your general market. Now, that could be a little hard for some individuals because some of you guys might be in markets like California that aren't landlord friendly, or like California, it's so expensive price point wise. So it's going to force you to go into other markets. And don't worry, I'm going to show you how you actually scale into other markets and how you can do this virtually. Okay. So if you're in a market like that, don't worry, we're going to handle that. No problem. But why do I pick Florida, for instance, as a market that I like to invest into? Orlando's my backyard, and I already have boots on the ground with contractors, errand runners, furniture people to assemble my furniture. I already have teams here. I already have a team that I developed, right? over the years of me investing into real estate in the Orlando market. So that's beautiful, pretty simple, right? Well, I've actually have gone into markets where I didn't know anyone. For instance, Jacksonville. I didn't know anyone in the Jacksonville market. But the way I was able to cultivate relationships in the Jacksonville market was I used the internet, just like we all have, right? We have so many data points at our fingertips. So when I had to build contractors out, I use websites like TaskRabbit and Thumbtack. I'll get into more on that later, guys. Don't worry. I used Facebook groups where if I had to utilize for cleaners and look for cleaners, I also used Thumbtack and TaskRabbit for that as well. So I utilized the internet to have more power in that market, because we all know that going into a market that you're uncertain about is because you're like, oh, well, I don't want to invest in this market because I don't know anybody here. I don't know, like, and trust anybody here. How do I hire the contractors? How do I get a cleaner? All this stuff. We're going to go into more of that later on, guys. Don't worry. Okay. But Jacksonville market, didn't know anybody there. I built a team there. So once I have my team built, I can actually utilize them for other properties in that market. Same thing with Tampa. Didn't know anybody there, built a team there. I'm able to utilize that one team that I built out and utilize them and scale them across my portfolio once I continue to build more properties in that market. You'll see that I put Ocala, Florida. That's actually a market that I lived in for a little while. I lived in there, well, not a little while, I lived there for 8 freaking years of my life, right? I actually already had people there that I knew who are contractors, et cetera, in that market. Not only that, it's actually a good secondary market. And we're actually going to talk about secondary markets in a second. Single family or small multifamily, right here on the right-hand side, okay? You'll see single family or small multifamily. These are the type of properties I like to pinpoint for utilizing PadSplit. Single family, why? Because single family, typically I get what are 3-bedroom, 2-bath properties or 4-bedroom, 2-bath properties. I like to be around that 1,500 to 1,800 square foot, okay? But why is it important? Because remember, we talked about a second ago, you're going to get a lot of deals coming to you, right? Because once you sign up for all these wholesaler lists and you start joining these Facebook groups and you start collaborating, I'm sure a lot of you guys are already getting blown up with deals. It's a lot of noise. It's a lot of distractions. So what I do is, if I see that a deal is sent to me, I can quickly analyze. I'll make an example. Guy sent me a deal the other day. He sent me, he's like, oh man, this is a great PadSplit. Again, wholesaler trying to make his typical assignment fee. He doesn't really care about me and what I invest into. He wants to pass the deal on to me and make a quick assignment fee, right? But we're smarter than that, guys. We have to use our brains a little bit. That deal he sent over to me, I quickly, within seconds, scanned it. And guess what? It had an HOA. One thing I cannot stress out to you guys enough is, I'm dealing with a situation right now. I'm going to explain it to you. Do not invest in HOAs. You cannot do PadSplit in HOAs. I don't care which HOA is it. They all have covenants. They all have rules and regulations. They do not allow co-living. I had a lady the other day. She called me up and make an example. She's in California. She bought a property here in Davenport, Florida, which is just outside of Orlando. She bought a property via Subject 2, didn't know what she was doing, purchased it, put it on PadSplit, put all these walls up, put all her time and energy. She's $90,000 into the deal, only to find out 2.5 months later, she's getting shut down by the HOA. I see it all the time. Don't buy in HOAs, guys. Save yourself time and energy and money and all your resources. I promise you, this doesn't work in HOAs. Stay away, and stay away. Okay? But what my example is this individual, wholesaler, wanted to make a quick assignment fee. He said, oh, I got this beautiful PadSplit deal. I saw that it had an HOA, immediately disqualified it. Why? Because that's in my buy box. I don't buy in HOAs. I buy single family homes or small multifamily homes. This works great for. I also want to make sure that my properties are a minimum of 1,500 to 1,800 square foot. Why? Because I know that if I'm getting an existing floor plan, that's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath property, I know that I need to convert it into a 6, 7, or 8-bedroom. I need square footage. I need heated square footage. Anything under central AC, right? I know I need to be able to add these bedrooms. So you already know if you're getting sent 2-bedroom, 1-bath properties, and those are typically are like 7, 8, 900 square foot, immediately eliminated. HOA properties, immediately eliminate it. So my point here is if you have a buy box, and you can actually replicate my exact buy box if you guys want, but if you have a buy box, you're able to eliminate all the noise. Another thing you'll see here on my buy box is 1985 or newer. I'm in the Florida market. I don't know about your guys' markets, but our market is super, super strict with homeowners insurance. You guys probably hear, oh, Florida's so expensive with homeowner insurance. Oh, they have all these hurricanes and storms and tornadoes. Yes, that is very, very true. We are a market to where a lot of insurance companies are pulling out. But let me tell you the hack and what insurance companies like to see. One, they're going to require what's called a 4-point insurance inspection. These are the 4 major components of the property that they really care about: the roof, the plumbing, the electrical, and the AC. This is what I call the hearts and lungs of the property. If the heart and lungs of the property are updated, or they're no older than, I would say, 5 to 7 years, you will actually get a decent insurance policy at a okay premium. What is the okay premium? A typical 3-bedroom, 2-bath that has an updated roof, updated AC, good plumbing, and electrical. Typically, they like to see copper wiring. They like to see PVC or PEX plumbing, and they like to see an AC unit that's no more than like 7 years old, give or take. And the roof typically 5 to 7 years old, no older than that. The newer, the better. The newer the home, the age of the home, the better. Why? Because when they look at a property, it's built in 1985, they look at that property like a higher risk to them. They're going to take you on as a client and they're going to insure you. They look at you as a higher risk. So you need to make sure that you're taking down properties that are anything 1985 or newer. And the reason why I say that, because the older the property is, you start getting in the 1920s, 1910s, 1930s, 40s. Again, if you don't have all the major components updated at that year, you're going to get a very high premium, just because the insurance companies look at you more of a liability. Okay. So I personally, in my buy box, I go 1985 or newer. If I can find homes in the 2000s, oh my God, golden. I'm super happy. Okay. The last one I acquired in Palm Coast at 4.75 interest rate, that property actually had, that was in 1998, I believe. Okay. Updated roof, updated plumbing, updated electrical, stuff like that. Another thing too, if you're looking at properties 2000 or newer, you actually have to do a lot less analyzing on the property, because you already know it comes with copper wiring. All homes built typically after, I believe it's 1965 or 70s. So what happened was, back in the day in 1960s, I believe it was, they stopped using copper wiring in properties because it went up so high. So they weren't using what's called aluminum wiring, right? And insurance companies, when they see that a property has aluminum wiring, they want to charge you out the yin yang for homeowner insurance. Why? Because it's a fire hazard. Aluminum wiring tends to overheat and causes fires. When insurance companies see that you have that, and you can actually do something in the wiring outlets, in the electrical outlets, called Alumicons, and that will suffice for them. But when they see that you have aluminum wiring in a property and you don't have copper wiring in a property, they will actually charge you a lot more for your annual premium, right? And so my point here is, if you can't get a reasonable insurance policy on the property, guess what? This is going to raise your operating expenses. So in my market, I stay away from 2 things: old homes that don't have any updates, and properties that are in flood zones. I don't want to be in flood zones. Again, I'm in Florida. Remember, I have lots of flood zones in the area. But also, if you're in Florida, just so you know, flood zones are a lot like school zones. School zones, they change. Just because you live in a certain district doesn't mean you'll always have that school and you'll be in that school zone. Same thing with flood zones. Every typical 4 years, they reevaluate the flood map. So it doesn't mean that today you don't have flood insurance. Doesn't mean 4 years from now you might not have flood insurance. My markets that I invest into are typically Central Florida and above. So that's why you see me in Orlando, Jacksonville. Even though I'm in Palm Coast, I'm not in a flood zone in those areas. I try to really stay inland when I'm doing this. And when I say inland, I mean like Orlando is like super ideal for me. Why do I go outside of Orlando? Is because I can't get enough inventory here. It's a little bit more tough to get inventory here. It's a lot more competitive of a market, meaning by the time the deal comes to me, it probably is sold to somebody else, or that person who's taken down the deal has probably bought it themselves, right? So that's why it's really important. And I can go on and on and on about insurance. I know tons of stuff about insurance. If you guys have any questions about insurance, let me know now in the comments, okay? But I try to stay away from properties that are anything older than 1985. And when I'm taking these down, I want the hearts and lungs of the property to be updated. The roof, the plumbing, the electrical, and the AC, okay? The 4 points. One other thing I want to mention to you guys, and I see a lot of investors also need to be wary of. If you're taking down a property, and this one tip, guys, I promise you is going to save you so much headache and save you so much money. And if you think it is, drop in the comments below after I tell you what I'm about to tell you. Be very careful investing into properties that have septic systems. They're not tenant friendly systems. Now, do I have properties with septic tanks? I absolutely do. Okay. How do I mitigate people from really shoving things down the toilet? To mitigate it 100%, it's not going to happen. But we do have signs in front of the toilets, even properties that are on city sewer, saying, hey, don't flush anything other than toilet paper down the toilet. Later on, when I get into my SOPs on how you set up a property and what signs you should be using, we're going to go over that in more in depth. But what I'm saying with when you get a property and you're looking at it and it has a septic system, you don't have to disregard it entirely, but I want you to understand something, guys. Septic systems are built for the property existing floor plan. When you start adding all these extra people, that means you have a lot of extra water running through the pipes. That water needs to go through the septic system, and then it needs to go through the drain field. Septic systems, the size of the tank and the drain field are adequate to how big the family that they built it for. So if they see it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, they'll say, okay, well, we'll do a 1,000-gallon tank in there, and we'll do a 200 to 300 square foot drain field. So my point is, if you saturate the system, you're going to have problems. You're going to have problems with individuals clogging the toilets and clogging the lines, right? It's more common with septic systems. You don't have to disregard these properties entirely, but one thing you want to consider if you do, you definitely need to put the signage up that I'm going to show you later on tomorrow when you do your SOPs, your standard operating procedures, when you set up the property. But you need to make sure that you understand how big the tank is and how big the drain field is. How do you do that? When you get your property and you purchase it, you could do something that's called a septic tank inspection. They're about $475. Okay. If you're buying a property, make an example, 1985 or 1950, and it has the original tank and drain field, you know, as the investor, that system needs to be upgraded at some point. Septic systems can actually last a lifetime, but the problem is in 1950, they used 500-gallon septic tanks. You don't know that as an investor. Why? Because it's buried in the ground. You're not physically looking at it, right? So make sure that you're analyzing this because it's super important to understand what your septic system is, how big it is, and the capacity of it. Because what they put in the property that when you bought it is adequate for that property size. Remember, you're adding people and you're adding bedrooms and baths. Now, the good thing is there's only one person per bedroom. So it's not like they're taking showers 24/7 because the more saturated that system gets with water flow, the more saturated the tank will get, or the tank will fill up and then it will get saturated into the drain field, okay? I'm not a septic tank expert, but I do own 4 properties, and some of them are Airbnb, some of them are PadSplits. I own 4 properties with septic tanks, and I have gone through so many septic tank issues that I understand septic tanks at a pretty high level, I would say, okay? Let's see, in the side chat, when do you take over subject to get additional insurance? Okay, we'll add that to the Q&A questions. Let me see, I'm just gonna scan through to see if there's any questions here about what I'm talking about. Good tip regarding sewage. That was something I had to consider when making plans to build my ADU on one of my investment properties. Super awesome, man. I got an ADU at one of my investment properties as well. I will answer the insurance question about subject to at the end of today's Q&A. All right, guys. Price point. Let's talk about price point on my buy box. The last bullet point here, you'll see I have price point. Price point. I actually like to stick in the affordable housing price point. 550 isn't affordable, okay? Why I put 550 there? Because if I get a property that's like a 4.3, I'm know for sure as an investor, I'm going to convert it into like a 10 to 12 bedroom. All right. I haven't got any 4.3s. I haven't got any 10 to 12 bedrooms. But why would I go up to 550 is because I want to be able to get what I call that $10,000 a month property. The property that's going to gross me 10 grand a month. That's what I call a $10,000 a month property. My average property is anywhere between $300,000 to $400,000 max. I also want to get properties that are really cheap because when I go to resell them in the future, I want them to be at the cheaper spectrum of the housing market. I don't want very expensive properties. All right. So 550 is my max, but I really buy at the $300,000 to $400,000 range. No HOA, just to remind you guys, I cannot stress no HOA enough. Please don't do HOA. Dealing with a lady right now. She's trying to call me to save the day, which I am saving the day for her, but still don't buy an HOAs because I don't want you guys calling me with that same situation. $90,000 later, she learned her lesson. We don't need you guys to learn that lesson here. The lesson you're learning here is not to buy an HOA. 15 to 1,800 square foot minimum. 3-bed, 2-bath, single family or small multifamily, or it could be large multifamily. And then you need to understand what market you're going into. I want to talk about the markets really quick. It's very simple, guys. You aren't going to do this business model in the boonies, okay? You need to be in major metro markets. Orlando, Jacksonville, Tampa, Dallas. Most importantly, if you're going to be a PadSplit investor, you need to go to the PadSplit website and check if PadSplit is even in your market. How do you know that? It's very simple. You're actually just going to go to padsplit.com. Okay, show you right here. Padsplit.com, and you're gonna go down here into the search bar. Okay, this is the home page of PadSplit. This right here is going to tell you every single market that they're in. It's not that difficult. You don't need to call anybody. You don't need to text me. You don't need to smoke signal me. Okay, this is going to show you every single market that they're marketing in. If you don't see your market on this page, that doesn't mean you can't do co-living. That just means you can't use PadSplit as a marketplace to advertise your property. Okay, so scroll through this when you have a chance. If you don't have padsplit.com, go to the link that Matt dropped there to sign up. All right. So these are all the markets that they're in. You don't see your market in here, they're not running advertising dollars to you. And that doesn't mean you can't do co-living. You just might either be in a market that they haven't opened up, or maybe you as the operator, you are in a market where you see a lot of opportunity. Make an example. I know an individual who is in Lance. I don't know if you guys know him, Lance Riggins. He's in a market, a Texas market, where he's next to like a big factory where PadSplit isn't there, but he's next to this big factory that employs like over 10,000 people. So who's his demographic? Who is his avatar? His avatar is people working at that facility. He's trying to pull people in, basic job force, who are at that facility. So check out that to see if they're in your market, guys. Okay. My markets again, Orlando, Jacksonville, Tampa. Why do I pick these markets? Because they're closest to my backyard, and Florida is a market that I like to invest into. Florida is a landlord-friendly market. I don't invest into non-landlord friendly markets. I also try to invest into markets like I own real estate in other markets, but I don't do PadSplit in other markets. Mainly, or all my portfolio for PadSplit is in Florida. Florida is my market. That's where I have my teams. And now that I opened up 3 different markets in Florida, I've opened up Jacksonville. When I say opened up, I mean I opened up my portfolio. I opened up Jacksonville. I opened up Orlando. I opened up Tampa, or excuse me, I don't have one in Tampa yet, but I'm working on some properties over there. I opened up Orlando, Tampa, and Palm Coast. Now I have teams in these markets. I have contractors, I have cleaners, I have handymen, I have electricians, I have everything I need to be a very well-oiled machine. And I'm going to go into you guys a little bit more in depth as you're going through the process. And I'm going to show you all the SOPs that I use, standard operating procedures that I use for my teams to keep things super, super streamlined. Okay. So What I want you guys to do as a homework assignment for tomorrow, when we jump on and we do the recap at the very beginning of the call tomorrow, I want to review at least 3 of you guys, 3 to 4 of you guys, your buy boxes. Okay. I'm going to tell you if you have a good buy box or a bad buy box, what you should change on your buy box. I want you guys to do that as a homework assignment. Create your buy box. And then also, as another additional homework assignment, if there isn't anyone today that has an actual property that you want me to analyze live with you guys right here, bring me at least one address. I'm going to pick 3 individuals tomorrow on the quick recap tomorrow to go over that address really quick with them and show you guys within minutes how you can be super efficient on analyzing a property. So today we're going to go into analyzing. I'm going to go into right now on the student guide. We're going to go into analyzing new markets. As you guys know, I've said it already. I'm in these 3 markets in Florida. These are my markets. These are where I tend to grow my portfolio. I'm going to really hone in on these markets. Now, there are secondary markets I will talk about that I'm interested in as well, that I'm okay with expanding into. How do you analyze a market, Javier? Anybody know? No. So the way you analyze a market is, I'm going to go right here. So, all right. Perfect. Let me get a sip of water. While I take a sip of water, has anybody have any questions about anything I've talked about so far? No? Everybody has it all figured out. All right, perfect. All right. So I have a market that I'm in and I invested into, which is Jacksonville. I'm going to use Jacksonville on this example for you guys. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is go to bestplaces.net. I'll give you guys a second. If you guys want to type that in your computer, you can do that to follow along and type in your market that you're interested in investing into, whether it's Missouri, Kansas, New York, Texas, California, whatever it is. Type in your market, go to bestplaces.net, and you're going to have a search bar up on the top right, and you're going to type in your market. Me, I put in Jacksonville. If anybody has a particular market, I'm happy to go into it with you as well. All right. So you're going to go under housing stats right here on the left-hand side. Now, obviously, this gives me data about some simple, quick tidbits about Jacksonville. The median age in Jacksonville is 34. Look how quick. I just went to bestplaces.net. I typed in the market that I want on the right-hand side, and it gives me all these quick little data points. But I actually want to go a little bit more in depth than this. But I can see really quick, the median home cost in Jacksonville is $280,000. Homes have appreciated in the last 10 years, 160.2% right here. It says it right here. Another reason why we buy it as investors is for appreciation. So that's the beauty about this, guys. As all these tenants who are working most of their lives to pay the bills that they have to pay, which is the room dues, they're paying down your asset. All you're doing as the investor is holding the liability. But as you hold the liability, not only do you get loan pay down, you're also going to get future appreciation. So appreciating markets are huge for me as well. I want to look at appreciation. But you're going to go down to home stats. You're going to click on home stats right here on the right, on the left, excuse me. Okay. What did I talk about yesterday? I spoke about yesterday. Your biggest competition is 1-bedrooms and studio apartments. So if I come here on the right-hand side and I see this is going to give me an average, the median monthly rent by the number of bedrooms. Okay. Shows me studio apartments are $980, the median. Okay. This is giving me the whole general market. We really want to hone in further than that, guys. But if I just want to take a quick snippet to see if numbers are starting to make sense, stuff like that, I'm going to go here and look at what is the median rent? I'm just curious. Is it $100? Is it $200? Is it $1,000, $2,000? You know, like California, if I pulled up California, it'd probably be like $3,000 a month for like a studio, or $4,000 a month. So here it's $980. I can see 1-bedrooms. They're saying $1,130. So these are 2 metrics that are very important to me right here. the 1-bedrooms and the studios. Okay. So that's one thing that I like to pull out right there. The medium age right now, medium home age is 36. That means 36 years old, right? Again, do you want to invest in really old homes? You have to consider, are the heart and lungs of the property updated? All right. Talks about how many properties are rented. Talks about how many properties are rented here in the United States, 31.4%, 39.2% in Jacksonville. How much of the market is renters? But remember, we're not renting to a family, right? We're renting to single individuals. But when I go to this tab, my most important thing is to learn what these numbers are right here, okay? When I go into, I'm going to jump over really quick into, again, still on bestplaces.net. One of the features that you also need to be looking into is people stats. Why people stats? Let's see. 44% of people are married. 13.9% of people are divorced. 27.7% people are married with children. Okay. Starts telling you a little bit about the market. 20.8% have children, but are single. Who's your avatar here? Single individuals. These are the individuals who are going to be renting your room. You need to know your avatar customer. Okay. So it's important for you to know what percent of that market are single individuals. If you're in a major metro area, you want to know who is going to be renting your product that you're delivering to them on PadSplit, or if you're doing your own co-living. But what I do, as soon as I get a property, a wholesaler sends me a property right now, I copy and paste the address and I'll paste it into Google, right? I make sure when I look at that property that wholesaler has sent me. Another thing I want you guys to watch out for, when wholesalers send you properties, you have to be very careful. A lot of the information that they put in there could be very misleading, very, very misleading. And I don't want you guys to be taken advantage of, okay? So make sure that it does have the correct bedrooms, it does have the correct bathrooms, it is the correct year. And the way you do that is going to the county records to verify, or you can walk the property. I always suggest, if it's your first deal, you always want to send either you or your teammate to the property to walk the property. And guess what? If you don't have anybody in that market, you can actually go on Facebook groups like Get Creative right here. This is the Get Creative Facebook group. You can go on Facebook groups, post in, hey, do I have boots on the ground? Anybody have boots on the ground? There's people who do it all day long. So you guys could be doing the same thing. Boots on the ground. You'll see people posting here. Hey, I'm looking for boots on the ground in this market, etc. You can make a post just like this. Look at this person. They're getting, hey, PM sent. I could do it in this area. Interested, blah, 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 right? So if you're looking at a property, a wholesaler just sent it to you. Step one, go to your buy box. You're going to go back to your buy box, which is right here. You're going to reference it. Right now I have mine memorized, but it doesn't have, if it's not a single family home, am I going to disqualify if it's a condo? Yep. Am I going to disqualify if it's a HOA? Yep. Am I going to disqualify if it's a 800 square foot? Yep. So I can look at the really quick write-up of what that wholesaler sent me and disqualify the deal really quick before you move on to the next step, which is doing a Google Street View of that area, right? So when you have the property at 123 Main Street or 456 Main Street, doesn't matter where the property is, you're going to check all the boxes on your buy box. If it's not in your buy box, you're going to move on to another property, guys. One other quick tip. A lot of times, wholesalers, when they send out deals, they will also mismarket the deal or mismarket the property. I have also seen a lot of opportunity. What do I mean by that? A wholesaler will send a deal out and they'll say like it's a 2-2, and really it's like a 4-2. Or they'll say it has an HOA and it really doesn't have an HOA. The best place, guys, to verify is the property appraiser site, or copy and paste the address into Zillow. And when you take that property and you paste it into Zillow, see if it's been on the market. See if you can see other properties in the neighborhood. Even if you don't find that exact property on Zillow, you can see if there's like 2 houses down, there's a property for sale. Think about it. If I'm looking at a property at 123 Main Street and it's got an HOA or I don't know if it has an HOA or not, and it's not on the market, you looked it up, but then you see the property 2 doors down in the same exact neighborhood is on the market, you can see if it has an HOA. Again, disqualify that from your buy box. So step 1 is getting the property, building that relationship with the wholesaler, or if you're going to go direct to seller, you guys can curate your own deals too. I spoke about one thing yesterday. One thing I spoke about to me, which is important, is time management. Why is time management important? It's because I don't have time to go out there and cold call sellers all day long. Now, can I cultivate the team? Absolutely, I can. I have the power to do that, but I don't have the time to do that either. So what I'm doing right now, that's most efficient for me right now, where I'm at in my business, because I'm crystal clear on my intentions on where I want to allocate my time, is I have bird dogs, which are wholesalers, going out, finding deals for my buy box. Hey, Javier, I got a deal for you. I haven't locked it up. Hey, I'm sending it over to you now. Would you be a buyer for this deal? Oh, I would be a buyer at this XYZ dollar. Okay. But when you have that address, you're going to go into Google. Okay. And you're going to go and copy and paste the address into the actual Google map. The first thing you can do is drive the neighborhood without you actually physically getting in your car and driving the neighborhood. So here's a house I bought. This is one of the homes I bought right here. Why do I like this property? It's because a couple things. One, when I bought it, this house is built in 1970. It was an existing floor plan of a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. We converted the floor plan from a 3-2 to a 8-bedroom, 2-bath. Okay. We converted the garage, half the garage, into a bedroom. So that was 1 bedroom. This area right here was the dining room, converted that into a bedroom. This area right here was a large living room. We converted that to 2 bedrooms. And then on the other side, on the back side of the home, there's a huge additional living room. We converted that into a bedroom as well. And then 1, 2, 3 bedrooms are on this side of the home. Okay. I actually have the floor plan. I'll pull that up here in a second for you guys, so you guys have more of a visual. But this property, why do I like it? So when I first got the property, what I did was, before I try to analyze to see if I can really pencil out to see if this deal makes sense, I went on here, I copied and pasted the address, and I was like, let me look around. Are cars parked in the road? Yep, there sure is, right? There's cars parked in the road. There's no HOA. Let me drive down a little further. Let me drive the neighborhood. Okay, it's a nice neighborhood, right? Remember, you don't want to be in too pretty of a neighborhood, but you also don't want to be in a neighborhood to where your members feel like they're going to walk out of their home and that's it. They're going to get mugged, right? You don't want that. But you can see here, like, remember I said yesterday, you don't want all your neighbors to have St. Augustine grass, right? And my market, St. Augustine in Florida, is very popular. That's a very thick, beautiful, lush, green grass, right? And what I'm saying when I say St. Augustine grass, and I mean, like, you don't want the yards to be pristine. That just means that you're in an area that is it's just too nice of a neighborhood. It's an A-class neighborhood. You want to be in like a C-class neighborhood, C+ neighborhood. So I'm driving around here. I can see, okay, neighbors got dirt. Okay, not the most well-kept homes, but it's not a bad neighborhood. You can see here, you're like, wow, this is actually a decent neighborhood. Okay, looking for cars that are parked on the road, still going to drive the streets. Okay, here's another car parked on the road. Oh no, this is a person driving right here. So this is what I'll do. I'll get the property from the wholesaler, or if I'm working direct to seller, I'll copy and paste the address into Google. And this is the beauty. Guess what, guys? I'm doing all this from my cell phone, or I'm doing all this from my laptop. I haven't had to physically jump in a vehicle to drive the property. At this stage, when I have this copied and pasted into Google, I already know that this property fits my buy box. I'm going to continue to drive the streets. Okay. Keep continuing to drive the streets. The neighborhood's pretty consistent, I would say. Right? All right. So I'm going to circle back. I'm going to go back to the home. All right. You get the point. I'm going to do this all around the neighborhood. We haven't jumped in our cars. We're actually driving the streets, driving to the location. And by the way, just so you know, I'm in Orlando. This market is 2 hours away from me. I visited the property 3 times total. I want to teach you guys how to do that. how not to be so hands-on. Now, you can be hands-on for your first project, but again, going back to what I said, what's important to me? I have other businesses. I'm scaling other things right now. I don't have time to sit there and micromanage a property every single second, right? So I did all this from 2.5 hours away. I got the property under contract, didn't have to walk it. Actually, I sent somebody to walk the property. And then before I even did any of the, hey, I'm going to pay you to walk the property, you could pay someone like 40, 50 bucks to open a door for you guys, right? If it has a lockbox on it, you don't have to worry. So a couple things here. Here's the property. Okay. I love that there's privacy bushes here. You don't want to be right on top of your neighbor. You can see I have a pretty good distance between my house and the neighbor's house, right? Pretty good distance. Not only that, these bushes give me tons of privacy. I have a privacy fence backyard, okay? I'm in a decent neighborhood. I have lots of street parking. I can fit 3 to 4 cars here on the street. You do not want your property to look like a used car lot. So the way I come up with how many cars I'm allowed to allow on the parking of the premises is, if I have an 8-bedroom, I usually would do 50% cars. Like for instance, 8-bedroom, I'll do 4 cars, 4 to 5 cars. Here I know in this driveway, I can fit 2 cars here and 2 cars here. This particular property, I actually allow 5 cars. 1 parks here, 2 parks in the driveway, and then 2 parks on the road here. So there's plenty of parking. It's not a skinny driveway, right? Nice home, appeals really nice. Remember, this home right here, it's inviting. People are like, wow, this is very nice. I want to be here. I feel safe here. And so going back to what I said yesterday, the Jacksonville market, it's a little interesting because there's units and there's bedroom rentals in the Jacksonville market for $140 a room. And I'm like, how are these investors making money? But they're in areas where if you walk outside your door, you are going to get mugged, right? So you got to be careful. This is not this type of area. This is a whole different product in a whole different area. So a member is okay with paying a little bit more of a premium. And how do they know that they're in a more decent area than what they had before? One, they could tell my ratings, right? I get reviews. Every single member in the home gets prompted every 2 weeks to write me a rating. They can write ratings about the cleanliness. They can write ratings about the location, the communication. They can write ratings about whatever they want about on the property. But my ratings, and not only that, when you go on the PadSplit website, they will actually get a map. They'll get an idea of where the property's at. So I'll make an example right here so you can see. Okay, right now I'm looking at PadSplit as a consumer. So it's important for you guys to understand what the consumer journey is. You can actually sign up as a consumer to see what the consumer journey is. So you understand, right? It's like a little hack. You can see how a PadSplit interacts with you as the consumer. I think you have to do, if you sign up to be a member, I think you pay like 50 bucks or something like that. But let's just say I go to a random market. Okay. I don't know. Let's pick a random one. Let's not do Atlanta because they have 1 million properties there. I don't know. Wisconsin. I know nothing about Wisconsin. Let's see if there's anything here. Perfect. So this individual can click on the property right here. They can scan through the pictures. Now the member, by the way, until they sign up and they get added as a PadSplit member and they're approved, they actually get limited information, but they will get all the property information, but they won't be able to see details like, for instance, is Susie or Bob, is Joe living in the property? When you're a member and you're actually looking and scouting for what property you want to be at, you can actually see what members are living in the home. Is it a guy? Is it a girl? Are they ambiverts? Are they extroverts? Are they introverts? They actually have a whole profile in every single member. And you as a new member, when you're scouting out for what next room that you want to go to, you actually get the opportunity to be able to see, are these mates in the property, are they a good fit for you? So this individual can come in here, they can scroll through the pictures, and then they can look at the map. And so this is what I'm getting at. They can see this grocery stores, they can see the nearest bus stops, but they can see the house right here. This is not disclosing the exact address. This is just disclosing the area that it's in. This house realistically could be right here in this corner, but it's telling that person the exact area, or not the exact area. It's telling the proximity to restaurants, the bus stops, And it's just telling them the general area of where the house is. But this house right here could be right here, right? So they mix it up, just kind of like what Airbnbs. They don't disclose the address until you actually get into the property. All right. Any questions so far? All right. Perfect. All right. So we talked about buy box. Make sure you're crystal clear on it. Don't go outside your buy box. We talked about when you have your buy box honed in and you get deals sent to you because you're a PadSplit operator, how to eliminate all the noise. And now we've talked about once you get that property and you see that it checks all the boxes of your buy box, we talked about pasting it into Google simply to see the neighborhood specifics. Okay? Neighborhood specifics. After you do that, you need to understand what the transit looks like in your area. So here's the beautiful thing, guys. Technology has done all the heavy lifting for us. I'm going to come in here as the PadSplit operator, copy and paste the address, and then I'm going to hit transit. Wow. Google just told me every single bus stop within this property. Okay. I can see there's a bus stop here. It tells me how far the walk is. It's 3.1 miles. I could see there's a bus stop here. There's one 2 miles away. Okay. I can see there's a bus stop here. There's another one 3.1 miles away. So it's important for you to understand your demographic and what individuals are going to be booking your room. If you're in a market like Jacksonville, Orlando, and you're in these major metro areas, you have transit, but you want to know how close you are to transit. Are you a mile away? Are you 2 miles away? How far are you away from the transit? It's important. These individuals, they say, based on PadSplit statistics, 40% of people do not have vehicles. 40%. So you want to make sure that you have transit in the area. Do you have sidewalks in the area? When you drive around the area and you do that Google Drive that I just showed you, are there sidewalks in the area? Not in the neighborhood, in the area. If somebody's riding a bicycle, do they feel safe riding their bike? Right? These are important things for you to look at. Scooters. Scooters right now are actually very common. I actually have one of my PadSplit members that has a push scooter, and they push scooter to work, right? But there's sidewalks everywhere for them to push scooter, right, to work. So it's important for you to look at those things. So I can come in here when I have the property address, whatever property it is, and I can come in here and look at the bus stops, how close the bus stops are, okay? How far away they are. I can see how far away they are, okay? Then you're going to go back and you want to also look at what's the next important thing? You also want to look at the restaurants in the area, the basic job growth in the area. I'm going to show you that here in a second. Okay, let's go back here. So you're going to click on transit up here. And then the next thing we're going to go to is restaurants. Think about who's going to be your avatar person booking your room. Waitresses, bus stop or bus boys, stuff like that. People working at restaurants, basic job growth. People working at Lowe's, Home Depot, hospitals as janitors, working at the airports, people working at an Amazon distribution or UPS distribution, stuff like that. So if I go here, it will tell me and highlight in red all the restaurants. And guess what I'm doing? I'm hovering over how far the restaurant is from the property. That's all I'm doing. This one's, okay, this one's 0.1 mile away, 1.1 mile away. This one's 1.2 mile away, 1.3 mile away, 1.4 mile away, 1.5. Oh, look at this, Sonic. You think somebody's working at a fast food restaurant? Think about it. They're making $10 an hour, $12 an hour, maybe $15 an hour. I know McDonald's right now is paying a premium for their employees. But still, after taxes, these individuals are making like maybe $1,500, $2,000 a month. If they have a car, groceries, expenses, by the time they pay their living, they have no money left over for their living expenses. So how many people might come out of Sonic? These are just like the very basic, very bare minimum, guys. I'm going to go to in a second and talk about the big employers. Think about big employers. Not everybody's a CEO. Not everybody's making six figures. There are basic jobs in big level industries. Like, for instance, we all know Amazon distribution center. This market right now, just so you know, in Jacksonville, we have the biggest Amazon distribution center in all of Florida, right here in Jacksonville. Awesome, right? We have one of the biggest UPS distribution, excuse me. We have CSX as well. But you're going to go around and check out all the restaurants. What's the proximity to the property? You're just going to simply hover around. Why are we doing this? We're doing this because we want to see the individuals, the avatar who's going to be booking your room, where are they coming from? Okay. That's just for restaurants, guys. I even go a little further than that, and I'll look at, okay, how far is the nearest Home Depot? You can look on the map. You can zoom out. Okay, here's a Publix. This Publix is not too far. You can click on it. Okay, see how far the Publix is. Copy and paste this. I can see there's a Firehouse Subs here. I can see there's a Mattress Firm. I can also go as far as, when I'm looking as well, whatever market you're in, what I want you to do is Google search top employers. And that's what I did here. Okay. I went to this tab right here. I Google searched top employers, and I was able to pull up JSX USA. This is specifically for Jacksonville. Every single market has a list of top employers. You can even extract by CSV files. So for instance, Duval County Public Schools, they actually employ 13,110. Baptist Health, 12,000 employees. Mayo Clinic, 8,450. Bank of America, 8,000 employees. Amazon, I just spoke to you guys about Amazon. Transportation and logistics. I can copy and paste this into Google and see where that exactly is. Jacksonville City, 7,260. UF Health Jacksonville, 6,600. You get the point. The list goes on. It tells me the top employers in this market. So what I'll do is on Google Maps, I will take a couple of these top ones and just copy and paste it. Now, Bank of America, there's probably 1 million banks. There's tons of locations. This is throughout all their locations. But I want to know things like Amazon, the distribution. How far am I from the distribution? Let's see. Amazon, actually, copy and paste here. Transportation and logistics. Oh, so you're going to go here, put the property address, paste. Amazon logistics. Oh, let me see. Amazon, it's probably distribution. Oh, yeah, look at here. Amazon distribution center. Perfect. So this is a 21-minute car ride. Now think about this. The individuals who are in my property, 40% don't have vehicles. They're most likely not taking a bus that far, but that doesn't mean that they aren't. There are people I know in my PadSplits that actually commute 15, 20 minutes on a bus because they like the location. It's important for me to know that. UPS is one of the bigger distributions as well in this area. So UPS, I think it's parking lot. I think it's UPS distribution center. Nope, that's not in my market. No, North Carolina. UPS. So you get the point. Where I start looking at a couple of these, I think it might be this one. Nope, that's not it. All right. Doesn't want to pull up UPS. There is a big UPS hub here. UPS hub. Let me try the hub. Oh, here it is. Oh, no. UPS customer center might be this one. Boom, right here. Customer center. This is one of their huge distribution warehouses. 13 minutes away, 7.8 miles. Okay. So you get the point. You're going to want to copy and paste in your market, whatever market you're in, to know how far you are from these individual major employers. And then you can see the smaller employers. So you want to take a look at the major employers, and then you're also going to want to take a look at the smaller employers, like the McDonald's, the Burger Kings, the Sonics, stuff like that. Once you understand that, guys, okay, you can actually know whether, if you're in a market that is suitable for PadSplit. So for instance, major metro markets, if you're in a major metro market, there's almost no way you're not close to one of these things. That's why I say stick to major metro markets. If you're going to go into secondary markets, you need to be more intentional about your underwriting. Major metro markets, we all know that they have transit. We all know that they have major employers. We all know that they have small employers. We all know they have population growth. It's all major metro markets pretty much have it. I don't know any major metro market that doesn't have these things. I mean, please name them, right? So when you're in here and you're doing that and you're checking out the bus stops, you're checking out the restaurants, you're checking out the major metro area, and you're checking out the top employers by Googling top employers in that market. Typically, there will be websites in your different markets for major employers. Then you're going to come in. And by the way, you can also use the Census Bureau for data as well. Okay. I typed in Jacksonville. I went to censusbureau.gov. We all know Census Bureau, those annoying people who are constantly calling you, trying to get data, whether you're working full time, what you do for a living, how many people live in your household, etc. I can see the population growth, or the population, excuse me. Now, for secondary markets, if you're going into a secondary market, I always recommend you have over 105,000 individuals living in that market or more. So one of the markets that I'm in right now doesn't have public transit, which is Palm Coast. Why did I invest in that market? Remember, I'm 1.5 miles away from the major strip that has the Home Depot, that has the Lowe's, that has the Avid Health, that has the BJ's that's being built. It has the whole strip of ton of employers, like over 1,000 employers. There's over 45,000 single family homes in that market. There's over 100,000 people in that market. Okay. So how did I have confidence investing in that market? There wasn't any rentals. There's no 1-bedrooms rentals. There's no studio rentals. There's none. There's literally like 1 or 2 on the market, and there's no pad splits. So what I'm doing is I understand that, yes, 40% of people don't have vehicles on PadSplit, but I also have, literally, not kidding you, you go outside the home and to the right, there's a sidewalk, straight shot that leads you all the way to the major strip. So I know that out of 100,000 people, if I'm the only PadSplit property, and this is a secondary market, guys, if I'm the only PadSplit property, how in the world can I not rent out 7 bedrooms? I'm doing something wrong if I can't. So that property right now, it's up and running. It's getting people filled in. It's starting to get some traction. I got a member in there for the first 7 days it was on the market. But stick to major metro markets. You could do secondary markets if you want to be able to test out a market, kind of like what I'm doing. Okay. But you can go to Census Bureau right here and get a quick snippet. And to be honest, Census Bureau just gives ridiculous amounts of information, more than I really want to know, right? But population, you can look at quick population, employment, family and living arrangements, income and poverty, housing, race and ethnicity, education and health. And then you can go down and just go through all this data if you want. I don't do all that. I'll just look at the quick snippet up here. And this is very similar to bestplaces.net, but their information is probably a little bit more accurate. I would say the Census Bureau is probably a little more accurate. Okay. So once you have your buy box created, okay, you got a deal sent to you from a wholesaler, you're excited. You've went over to either the website, or excuse me, the Creative Finance Real Estate Group, right? Pace Morby, you've gone there and you've searched for people who are wholesaling in there and who have potential pad splits. Now you're getting individuals sending you deals in here. You can use the search bar here on the right-hand side and type in boots on the ground. If you don't have boots on, or if you're not in that local market and you need to do this outside of another market because maybe you're in California and it's too expensive, or maybe you don't have a team there, or maybe you're in a market that's just there's not a landlord friendly market. You're going to search boots on the ground. Boots on the ground, you're going to make a post. Okay. If you're not in that market. Before you even do that though, you need to make sure that you have your buy box and you're developing relationships with wholesalers. Okay. These wholesalers don't know how many deals you're buying, But once you buy one deal off them and they see that you're an intentional buyer, I'm going to tell you right now, if you build that relationship and you cultivate that relationship, they will prioritize you when you are buying deals. I promise you. If you're really buying deals and they see that you're buying deals and they see that you're intentional, they will prioritize you. And they will even take a smaller assignment fee because they know that the deal is going to move and you're a buyer who's going to perform. Okay. Another thing I want to tell you guys really quick. When a wholesaler sends you a deal, it's okay for you to negotiate. You do not have to accept that deal as is. You can look at the deal and say, hey, entry fees 100K on this property. Yeah, I'm a buyer at 25 or 50, whatever the case might be. Okay. Yesterday I mentioned something, and I'm going to go on that in a second. I like to be in my deals all in with holding cost, renovation, PadSplit renovations, PadSplit furniture, everything, the acquisition cost, everything all in. I want to be around like $60,000 all in. If I'm over that number, then I know that my projections of 20 to 30% cash on cash isn't going to be, I'm not going to hit that number. Okay. So it's important for you to stay within those parameters. Remember, the more money you have in a deal, the lower your return. Once you start getting into that 60, 70, 80, $90,000 mark and your property's only doing 4 or 5K a month, you're not making money, guys, right? So you want to stay right around that $60,000 or that $60,000 all-in cost, 70 pushing it, right? 70, maybe 75. When you start getting way too high, you start getting up closer to the 100 range, I'm telling you, your cash on cash return won't be sexy. And I'm doing this for 20 to 30% cash on cash returns, right? So you're going to go in the free Facebook group here and you're going to start collaborating with wholesalers. A lot of you guys might not have the skill set or know-how to talk directly to sellers. If you do have the know-how or the skill set to talk directly to sellers, I can tell you right now, if you have the time, if you have the know-how, the skill set, and you can go direct to seller, go direct to seller. That's awesome. It's a great strategy. Nothing wrong with that. The reason why I don't do that is just a time thing. So you need to ask yourself, what part of the real estate journey are you in, right? If you have that time and you can allocate direct to seller, the two lists I recommend you pull for subject to deals are pre-foreclosure and low equity. There's only two reasons why somebody's going to do a subject to. It's all about the pain. Okay. Seller finance is all about the gain. Remember that. Subject to is all about the pain. Seller finance is all about the gain. So when you start going in here and you collaborate with wholesalers, at least put 4 to 5 wholesalers on your list every single week. And then you can circle back with them and see if they have any deals that are within your buy box. So you have the buy box created now. We spoke about your buy box. We spoke about after you get your buy box, how to get the deal. You can either go direct to seller or you can start working directly with wholesalers and pay a 5, 10K assignment fee or 20K assignment fee. Direct to seller, you're gonna get in deals a lot lower entry cost. Okay. So if you do direct to seller, you can get deals. I've seen guys get deals as low as almost no money, literally. But you can also get deals at higher. So it depends. But if you go direct to seller, you have the skill set, you have the time, and you're willing to pull these lists and put the time and resources and energy into that, go that route. If you're not, you need to go to Facebook groups like this. And this is just one of the Facebook groups. There's tons of them. Seller finance is another group I'm in, right? This seller finance group, I pull deals out of here all the time. 126,000 members. This is nationwide groups, guys. They have people are posting deals in here left to right. So make sure you're pulling and collaborating with people. If you're in a group like the Gator method, or you're in top tier TC, or you're in sub 2, some of you guys might be in that group. Some of you guys might not. If you're in that group and you're not utilizing relationships that you have in those groups and those communities, then I don't know what to tell you. Like you're missing out so much, but you don't need to be in those communities to be able to get deals. Is what I'm saying. If you're in those communities, it's even easier for you to get deals because these people are the ones cultivating. They're curating them for people like you. There's people that all they do all day long is curate deals for investors like you guys self, right? So make sure you do that. So now that you have the buy box, now that you understand after you get the deal sent to you from the wholesaler, or if you have a direct to seller lead, you plug it into Google, like we spoke about, do the whole entire street view, right? Are you buying in the hood? Are you not buying in the hood? Are you buying in a nice A-rated neighborhood, which you don't want to be in? Or are you buying in a C class or a B class? Again, I recommend a C class-ish, right? Give or take. It can be a C minus or C plus. You start going lower than a C, you're going to be in areas where you're probably going to be a little bit weary. Your members will be a little bit weary about walking outside. If you're in an A-rated neighborhood, what's going to happen? The grass is too nice. People don't park on the roads. Yeah, you might not be in an HOA, but just your neighborhood is too well kept, right? You want to make sure that you're in that in-between mark, okay? So we talked about getting into the Google, doing the Google Street Drive. That way you don't have to drive your own vehicle to these properties. If the property then meets your buy box, if the Google Street View looks good, okay, you need to send somebody there to have boots on the ground, whether that's yourself or another individual. A lot of times, sometimes I walk properties myself, sometimes I don't, and I hire somebody for 40 to 50 bucks to open a door up, send me pictures, send me pictures and videos of the property. Now, depending on your risk tolerance, guys, I've bought in properties with no home inspections, but when you're buying properties, I always recommend you get a general home inspection. It's important for you guys to know what the major components are and anything that is going wrong with the property. That way you can update that right away. When I'm purchasing properties, guys, one of the things I look at as well is I make sure that the property, all the major components are updated. Is the roof updated? Is the plumbing updated? Is the electrical updated? Are the cosmetics updated? Right? I want those hearts and lungs to be updated, but not only that, I want the cosmetics to be updated as well. Okay? So make sure that you're looking at that as well, because if you have to update the cosmetics and the kitchen cabinets are falling apart and all the flooring is falling apart, guess what? Now that's a problem, because now that's more money you're going to have to fork into that deal. So I want to find deals. My key thing is the way I stay at that 60K all in is I'm finding deals that are fully updated. Like the kitchen has shaker white cabinets. The flooring is laminate. If I have to come in there and I have to replace a vanity or I have to do small cosmetic stuff, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But I don't want to have to go out and rip out bathrooms, rip out kitchens, rip out flooring, all that stuff. It's just too much money in the deal. I want to be in as least amount of money as possible, right? That's the key. So once you understand that you have a deal that you are going to buy, or you're really intentional about it, you need to figure out what I can get per bedroom. But you also need to figure out how many bedrooms I can add to this property. That's why I said it's important for you to walk the property or have somebody with boots on the ground. Another thing you can look at is the floor plan. So when I got this property, 7044 Hanson, when I got this property, there was actual floor plan online. It's not there anymore, but there was one online. So when I bought this property, here's what I'm talking about. Does this look updated to you guys? Yes. I didn't have to come in here and rip out this kitchen. I didn't have to come out here and do any of that work. All the floors are updated. All the light fixtures are updated. This is when I bought it. This got converted into a bedroom, right? When you're looking through the pictures, you can kind of tell what you can convert into a bedroom. So we put a wall all the way up here. This became a bedroom. We put a reach-in closet here, okay? This right here didn't have carpet. This is just an old picture. When I arrived, it had updated laminate flooring. Remember, when a wholesaler sends you a deal or you're looking at a deal from a realtor, a lot of times there's a lot of misleading information. Until you get into that home, you're not going to know what that home really looks like. Even though that there's probably recent pictures, you'd be surprised. I've been to homes where they look beautiful in pictures and the pictures are super deceiving. You show up and it's like roach infested. Okay. This bathroom, quick tidbit. Even though this bathroom's dated, we removed this cabinet. We put a brand new toilet, took off this old mirror and put a modern mirror. We did a new vanity. Okay. We painted the whole bathroom. Looks night and day. Same thing here. We put a new vanity, new mirror, took out these ugly little things. We repainted all these little ugly tiles. We did a resurfacing on all these tiles. We repainted them. We reglazed them. This bathroom right here, I want you guys to take a really quick snapshot of this right here. I'm going to show you the after. This is the before. Okay. We got rid of this medicine cabinet here, new mirror, remove these, remove the vanity, put a new vanity, new toilet, and we put new flooring in this thing. So the only problem with this home is The roof was actually 1 year old. The AC was 5 years old. It's an on-city sewer. It's got copper wiring everywhere, and it's got updated PEX plumbing. Cool, I'm a happy camper. This fits my buy box. It's got single family home. It's in the area that I want. No HOA, the price point that I want. Okay, I'm excited. I'm ready to move on this deal, right? So what am I doing next here? One, I need to figure out where am I adding bedrooms. Now, I was lucky enough to where there was a floor plan of this property online. Oh, boom. This right here, let me back up a little bit. Oh, here's the floor plan right here. So I can give you guys a visual. By the way, while I take a sip of water, is there any questions just yet? We've covered a lot so far. Can you make a living room a bedroom for PadSplit? What's up, Roshana? If it leads to a Florida room or an existing, oh, great question. Right here is actually the answer to your question. So if you look at this living room, this family room, this was leading to a porch here, right? And so this is actually an exterior sliding door. And being that it has a sliding door and this is just an open porch, you should knock this down. It was a little cheapy porch. I'm talking about like 2 little things, little roof, little aluminum roof. You knock that dang thing down, boom, you got yourself a room. So the answer to your question, Roshana, is no. You should have it, whatever your 2 egress points are, it needs to be to an exterior 100%. It can't be, I have a room and I'm jumping into another room. It's not code. Your egress needs to be to them outside, right? So this right here, you eliminate this porch area, super cheapy porch. And then now you have a whole entire exterior area, right? So we put a wall up here, guys. So the existing floor plan of this property. So when I got the property, got it sent to the wholesaler, sent it to me. Boom, it was exciting. I checked all the boxes. It was in my buy box. I Google Street Viewed it. I looked for the bus stops. I looked for all the major employers. I started looking at data in Jacksonville. Even though I knew about Jacksonville, I still want to know more about Jacksonville. What is the growth? I showed you guys that. How to find the major employers. I showed you guys that. Okay. If you're just tuning in, you missed it, but I showed you guys that, right? And then I want to come in here. Now all properties have floor plans like this. I got super lucky. The existing floor plan is 3 bedrooms, right? We got 1 bedroom here, 1 bedroom here, and 1 bedroom here. Now, the tricky part is you guys are probably wondering, well, you have an owner suite here. How does all the members get to this bathroom? How do they get here? How do you add more walls? So what I did with this floor plan is I put a wall from this angle to this wall to this wall. That's 1 additional room. That's 4. I took this living area and I put a wall down the middle here. This is a double window. Okay. And there's a door here and a door here. So you have 2 points of egress. These rooms are about 90-ish square foot total. And then I made this a bedroom. So I got 1 extra bedroom, 2, 3, 4. And then the garage, I put a wall up here and made this into 5 bedroom, right? That's 5 additional bedrooms that I added. So 1 right here, this became 2, 1, 2, this became 3, 4, right? 3, 4, 5, sorry. And then you have the additional 3 right here on the right-hand side, 1, 2, and 3. Now that I've created all these bedrooms, I need to know, A, what's the marketability of them, right? I'm feeling confident. I'm near bus stops. I'm near major employers. I'm in a good metro market. I have no HOA. My whole buy box has been met. Now I need to know, okay, I can create bedrooms, but how much can I rent these bedrooms for? Right? So how could you underwrite if you don't know what the bedrooms could be rented for? So what I do is I'll go within typical a quarter to 1 mile radius from the property. I use websites like, for instance, apartments.com. This is in, let me see, I can't even remember the zip code, 32210, right? 32210. Putting the zip code in here. I'm going to go studio apartments right here, studio 32210. And I'm going to pull up in this area all my studios. Okay. So you can get a studio here for $865. Here's another ones that range from $749 to $884. The reason why it says that is because this is a multifamily property and they have multiple units. So they range depending on the unit size, depending on the amenities, more, you pay more depending on square footage, right? Again, guys, who's my biggest competitor here? $699. Okay. Where are these at? $918, $1146, $964. What I would do is I would take, is exactly what I do. Simple as this. Okay, let's start from the top here. $865, right? $865 on my calculator. Plus, we can do the lower of the two to be conservative. 865 plus 749. Okay. So I've added this number to this number, 699 plus 918 plus 962. I got 4193. You guys are probably like, oh, why are you adding all these numbers up? Well, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. I'm going to divide that by the average. I want to know the averages, right? Divided by 5, that's $838.60 a month I got here on my calculator, okay? You can't see that good. $838.60 per month on the average. Now remember, I know that some of these units aren't in as nice of a neighborhood as mine, but again, studio apartments are my biggest competition. You can look at one bedrooms as well if you want to go to one bedroom round as well. But that means somebody can go out in my market and get a studio apartment for $838 per month. Now they still have to pay for power. They typically have to pay first, last, and security. So yes, the barrier to entry is a lot higher for them to go that route. But what I want to know is, like, if I'm losing somebody, who am I losing them to? Is it another PadSplit host, or is it they're upgrading their lifestyle? Okay. So I will take my average number. I got 838. I'm looking at apartments.com. You can do the same thing on Zillow. Same thing. Exactly what I just did. I like to use apartments.com. And then I will take between a 10 to 30% discount of that. Okay. So I'm at 838 times 0.20. I'm going to do it 838. That's 167 minus 838. Okay. That gave me 670. Has anybody lost me yet? I added all of these properties together. These are my competition. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm trying to come up with the room rates here, guys. Okay. I gave myself, once I added all these together, I divided by 5 because these are in my zip code. I don't want to go on this side of Jacksonville. I want to stay right in my zip code. And then I will look and I will say, okay, I'm going to give a 20 to 30% discount. I did 20% in this instance. I came out to $670, right? $670 is what I came with. I divide that again by 4 per week. That's $167 a week minimum I know I can get for my bedroom rentals. Because now we're going back to what? We're going back to this example right here. We're going back to this example. Where's the floor plan? You created all these bedrooms. You're super awesome. Now you got a product that you can put on the market. How much can you get per bedroom? $167. Now check this out. I'm going to go. This is why I say, if you haven't signed up, sign up to PadSplit.com because I'm about to use PadSplit.com's resources. So I'm going to go $32,210 to their resource. Where do I buy next? You're going to go under the resource tab. Where do I buy next? Explore the map. $32,210. So in my zip code in Jacksonville, one thing you notice, there's no data popping up here because it usually pops up on the left-hand side. There is like very little competition in my zip code. Okay. Majority of the properties in Jacksonville are there on this northwest area. There are starting to be a lot in the east side of the river, because this is the river right here down the middle. But they're all in this northwest section. So, okay, I'm going to go back to Jacksonville. I'm just going to put the general market instead of the zip code. What did I tell you guys yesterday? 1,230 active units in the total market. 70 upcoming right here. Okay. In the last 30 days, there's been 14,337 searches on PadSplit. All right. Now, typically, so you can see here, they break it down per zip code. Depending on if you have data in the zip code, here's my zip code. They will tell you more information if they have data for that zip code. Oh, they do have data for my zip code. This must be new. In my zip code, 184 units. Man, it's grown crazy. I remember when I was in this zip code, there was like a bunch in the Northwest. So the business model is growing. So it's important for you guys to know, as more competition enters the market, what is the competitors charging? I just told you guys, I added up all the apartments on apartments.com that are in my zip code. Do you guys see right here the limited of inventory that I have in my market, right? Here's one choice, two choices, three choices, four choices, five choices. Five choices. If somebody wants to live in my zip code, they have very limited choices if they want to upgrade their lifestyle. But I want to know, as the investor, I added all the wall. I'm excited about this deal. I'm going to add all the walls. I'm going to add $167 per bedroom. How did I come up with that? I added all these bedrooms that are renting as studios, and I divided by the sum, the average, which is 5. I don't want to go to other zip codes. I want to know what my zip code's doing. Then once I came with that number, which is $863, I then gave it a 20%. I found out what 20% of 863 was, and then I subtract that. Okay. But here's where I'm talking about. This is how I'm going to verify. This is the funny part. Look at this. Look how beautiful this is. My math matches up to what PadSplit is coming up with. They're saying average weekly room rates are 170. I came up with 167 on my calculator, guys. Look how look how I came up with it. 167 on my calculator. Now, that doesn't mean I have to charge 167, but this is the average weekly room rate, right? Average weekly room rate with a private bath, meaning they're not sharing with anybody, is 241. Average weekly room rate with a shared bath is 164. Average occupancy rate for my zip code, 74%. First booking, that means after you go live, your property's in service, 5 days in the market. And they're saying in my market, see, this is why it's important. In my market, it takes an average of 67 days from the time you go live on PadSplit for you to reach an 80% occupancy rate. Think about that. What does that mean? Additional holding cost. Remember, you're going to have holding costs through the time of you taking the property down, meaning you closing on the property, doing the renovations, furnishing the property. You need to be able to allocate the proper amount of holding cost. Guys, to put things in perspective, it takes me, my quickest property from the time of acquisitions, meaning I closed on the property and I became the owner, my fastest one I've ever done is 39 days. From the time I've closed on it to get it up in service on PadSplit, 39 days it took me. It's holding cost. Now they're telling me I have, so if I look at my market, I'm like, okay, PadSplit is indicating 67 days that I have to hold the property before it gets stabilized. Because when you get stabilized, you're going to be at that 60 to 80% occupancy rate. You'll be stabilized probably around 60%. What does stabilized mean? That means the asset is paying for itself. It's stabilized. You're no longer coming out of pocket. So that 60% range, you're going to be stabilized. So here, this is how I come up with the numbers on my room prices. I know this is worst case scenario, by the way. And I'm going to go into a second, how do I get higher rates? So you can do two things here. You can underwrite with the worst case scenario, which I always recommend, or you can underwrite with kind of like an in-between, which I like to do. I like to do best case scenario and a worst case scenario. So going back to this chart, I know at this property, my average weekly rate is 170. So if I come back to here and I know that I'm going to chop this house up into 8 bedrooms, right? By the way, Matt, can you drop the video to this property walkthrough from YouTube, please? And you guys can check it out when you guys have a second. You guys can see I did a live video on YouTube with this exact property, showing you exactly the renovations, from the renovations to the completion. So you guys can check that out once we're done with this as well, guys. So me adding the bedrooms here, okay? How do the people get from this bathroom? So there's only two bathrooms. For every 4 bedrooms, you need 1 bathroom. How does the individuals get to this bathroom if this is an owner suite? I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering. What we did was from here to here, we made a wall. We put a wall up. It was 36-inch wide. Okay, that's code. That way somebody has a wheelchair, they can wheel through there, right? And then now this just became a bedroom. We took away the owner suite. Why does this make sense? Because I don't want to build more bathrooms. And even though if you go back to PadSplit.com, you can see here, you can see here that you could get more money for a shared private bathroom. With this particular property, it didn't make sense. For me to add a bathroom, it's going to cost me $12,000 to add a bathroom. To add a bathroom fully from scratch, it's going to be anywhere from $10,000 to $12,000 in my market. Maybe your market's a little more expensive. Okay. So now I have the room rates. Now we're going to go into the deal underwriting. So anybody have questions so far? I think Rashana might have asked a question. How do the members access the master? Oh, I just answered that. Did it make sense? Cool. Awesome. So we're going to put that wall up. And by the way, just so you know, when you pull that wall up, you want to make them soundproof. And I'm going to go more into that tomorrow, guys. When I put my walls up, how am I structure them? Because think about this for a second. The member activity walking in this hallway to get to this bathroom and this person sleeping in here. You do not want to piss people off because they're going to move out, right? If people move out, you have a lower occupancy rate. But that's the beauty, guys. This is the beauty about this business model. I have one person here working 50% of their life to pay my bills. I got another person here working to pay my bills. I got another person here, actually another 2 people here to pay my bills. This whole entire living room right here, I converted into 3 bedrooms. 1 bedroom here, we put a wall up to wall, and then we put a wall down here. I got a person here. My risk is spread so wide in this one property. And going back to what I said yesterday, this property is actually only stabilized. I'm not even making money. It's just a stable asset. My other 3 rooms are all going to be my cash flow. Okay. So that's why I say it's important that you allocate and you look at the resource tab back on PadSplit. You go to resources simply, you type in your market, go to their zip code. It's a pretty user-friendly map and start seeing the average weekly rates. This is just the average, guys. That doesn't mean you can't charge more for premium for rooms. My average room in my house, I have to add it up, but this right here, this bedroom is now renting for $241, I believe it is. Right now, $241. No shared bathroom. These rooms here in the center, I'm getting $169. So let me add these up so I can see my so I'm getting $241 plus I'm getting $169 here, $169 here, right? Okay. This room right here is vacant. This one is advertised right now for I think 1 190, I believe it is. This room right here is vacant. It's advertised for right around the 190 range too. I'll pull it up on PadSplit here in a second. This room's occupied, this room's occupied, and this room's occupied. This room's occupied at like 190. I'm gonna pull them up here in a second so you guys can see the real numbers. This room right here is occupied right around that 200 range. And then this room right here is occupied right around that 200 range. So in weekly income, once they're all occupied, which they will be very soon, I'll be doing gross on this one property, $61.96 per month. $61.96 per month. Okay. 61.96. I'm going to put this in the calculator. We're going to go on this calculator here in a second, guys. We're going to start plugging this number in. Oh, view only. Give me access on this one, Matt, the calculator here when you get a second. 61.91 a month, guys, on this one property. I will be producing. But again, I have to be patient because I don't know if any of you guys have an Airbnb, but Airbnb, you get like bookings in like 24 to 40 hours. It's a lot slower burn. Okay. Yeah, Brevard, 100%. Awesome. I'll get the access right now, Matt. Brevard, Broward, yeah, great market. That'd be a great market. Lot going on down there. Any questions so far while I take a sip of water? Any questions? All right. So we're going to move on here. We're now going to get into the calculator. And I know that was a lot of deep diving, guys, and that was a lot of information. So I'll be very surprised no one has a question. Any questions before I go on? I want to make sure this is crystal clear for you guys. Any questions in regards to what I was talking about? Between the buy box, between Google Maps, between when you're going on these Facebook groups, how you're scouting deals, where you're putting walls up, stuff like that. No? Yes? Anybody? All right, do me a favor. Drop me a 1 in the chat if this has been valuable for you guys so far. I want to know you guys are listening. Or am I just talking to the wall? Perfect. 1. Don't forget, if you can, guys, and you guys feel that this is valuable for you guys, because I'm about to go into the calculator part. And we're going to be giving away some gifts for you guys as well. If you feel that this is valuable, please screenshot this, post it on your Instagram, and tag me. Matt is my team member. He's in my support. Remember, he's going to be tracking everything. People who are engaged and with their cameras on, and they're actually taking action. We're going to be doing a giveaway tomorrow at the end of tomorrow, which is the 3rd day. Okay. So make sure you guys, stick around to the end, like Matt said. If you guys want to see the video of the property that I was just referencing, this property and how I built it out, please check out the YouTube video. If you haven't liked and subscribed to my YouTube channel, please like and subscribe to The Real Javier Paredes. I'm putting out 3 videos a week. Okay. All right. I'm going to take a sip of water really quick, and we're going to move on to the calculator portion of today, which is day 2. So now we know how we came up with our weekly room rates, right? And by the way, I'm actually going to go back because I want to mention one thing. Every single room that I put on PadSplit, I make sure it has a desk. It's got an office chair. It's got a mini fridge. It's got a reach-in closet. I do reach-in closets. One of my first PadSplits, I wasn't doing the reach-in closets. What does that mean? These are closets that we build in the rooms. Like I think they're a 3x3 where somebody can reach in. They actually get a bifold door they can reach in, and they can utilize it as a closet. And then we put a rack up top, and they can utilize that as storage. So for instance, when we put the wall up from here to here, we built a 3x3 reach-in closet right here. Why do I like to do reach-in closets? Because reach-in closets, the longevity of them are a lot longer. I'm going to get into longevity about the products that you're putting in your property. That way you guys aren't constantly replacing beds. That way you guys aren't constantly replacing dressers. So if you can get away with not going the dresser route, and I know you guys are probably thinking like, oh, on Amazon, I can get a dresser for $75 and I can still meet the PadSplit standards, right? Well, the problem is those cheap dressers that you're going to buy, you're going to be replacing them every so often. Instead of investing into when you're doing your extensive build out on PadSplit, invest in closets, reach-in closets. That way you never have to replace them. They're not going to get damaged. There's nothing for them to damage other than like the bifold door, right? And I'm actually not even doing bifold doors. I'm actually doing solid open and closed doors. So my gap of the closet is 36 inches wide. Okay, so I'm taking that extra dollars and spending it up front versus constantly having to replace dressers. Oh, the dresser drawer is broken. Oh, the knob is broken. Oh, I got to, so you want to make sure that you're doing things when you're doing them for longevity. Okay. Every single room has a reach-in closet. It's got a desk. It's got a office chair. I'm making premium rooms. It's premium products, right? Let me show you really quick. Go to the dashboard. Properties. Hey, Javier, what's up? All right. All right. Can everybody see my screen? Really good. Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. Now, this particular property, when I first did this property, I had the mindset of how can I squeeze as many rooms in the home as possible, right? That was not my mindset anymore. I want to make sure people have a nice, large space because the 80 square foot rooms, I wasn't able to do the reach-in closet and I wasn't able to do, I had to do a dresser, which goes against what I just told you, but I had no other choice because I made rooms so small, there wasn't really a room to put a reach-in closet. And I'm now starting to see that doing the reach-in closet is way better and doing a bigger room is way better as well. We spoke about this yesterday as well. So you can see my rooms. Nice side table, nice bed, nice foam mattress, nice metal bed frame. These are metal bed frames, nice refrigerator, nice mirror art. All the rooms have a ceiling fan. Egress point here, and then there's a door on this side. Obviously you can't see it, but that's an egress too. This is a reach-in closet, guys. For you guys can see a visual, this is a reach-in closet. They get a little standing mirror, a little mirror here, whole entire bed again, ceiling fan. This is another bedroom. I think it's bedroom, yeah, bedroom number 2. Zoom in there. Okay. Here's an 80 square foot bedroom. This is what an 80 square foot bedroom looks like, guys. Got the desk, the lamp, the wall. So this is where we put that wall up. So this bedroom right here, this is this. I chopped this in half. There's a double window right here. We put a wall from this point all the way to this point, right? And we chopped it in half. So you can see that wall comes right on the middle of that window. See that? That's that wall. This wall is soundproof. We made it soundproof, okay? So you can see this is an 80 square foot bedroom. What did I do? I didn't have closet space. So I put a iron pole connected to the studs in the wall so they can't rip it out. And we put hangers here, some small artwork. Now this artwork I should have did bigger, but when we purchased it, we thought it was bigger. One of the gifts we're going to be giving away for you guys too. Everything you see here is in my PadSplit shopping list. I have an exact shopping list, play by play for room to room, exactly what you need to purchase per room. It streamlines the whole entire process. You can furnish a whole entire 8-bedroom property within an hour. You will lose your mind if you try to figure out everything you need. Trust me, I promise you. I've done it already. Been there, done that. I'm going to give that away for you guys as a gift too. Okay. Right here, room 7. Boom. You can see how nice my rooms are. Is this not inviting or what? Come on. Professional pictures, nice staged, nice artwork. Notice how we did colors, right? A lot of PadSplit hosts you go over, you can tell that they do they just throw together prison cells. You do not want prison cells, guys. I promise you. Don't do that. So this is a bigger bedroom. Here's another 80 square foot bedroom. I only have two 80 square, I think they're 90 square foot to be honest, but two 90 square foot bedrooms, and I wasn't able to do reach-in closets on these ones. I now, all the product that I create, I do reach-in closets now. So for the initial setup, Rashana, we include the linens. We give it to them as a welcome gift if they're the first guest, first member. We give them to as a welcome because we don't remove them, right? Because remember, the last person that touches my property is the photographer. After that, we get the photos, we go live. I don't really want to send somebody else there to take off the sheets and all that. I just say, hey, you know what? We can either use it at another property if you're scaling in one market, so you're not constantly buying these sheets. But what's included is on the mattresses, 2 mattress protectors, and we do these 2 pillows, and then they'll get this quilt as a gift, and they'll get sheets as a gift if they're the first member. If they're not the first member, the bed comes stripped. It's a strip bed. Okay. I'll get more into that tomorrow, by the way. See the desk? This looks presentable. This closet we built here. This is a reach-in closet, ceiling fan. Notice all my properties have ceiling fans. Another thing that I want you guys to understand, if your property in your rooms have a desk, a reach-in closet, a ceiling fan, typically I do minimum of full to queen size beds. Now I'm only doing queen size beds or bigger, right? I have a couple premium rooms with king size beds, like the garage rooms. I really make them really nice, and I do king size beds. So this is like one of my first products, but I want to show you guys here in a second. You can see how I transition, right? So kitchen, front of the house, looks inviting, right? The table. We got our fire capes here. These are fire blankets. I'm going to go more into that tomorrow. I know you guys are probably interested in exactly how they work. All right. Everything looks really nice. Would you agree? Look at my signs. Look at my signs. Even though this property is not on septic system, I have signs, and one of my SOPs is for the individual to go around the property and put signs up. We're going to go into that more tomorrow. But I want you to see what type of product that I'm delivering, guys, and how do I price my rooms. So where I'm getting at is, how do I come up with that room price? So we looked at all the competition in the area, which was on apartments.com. We figured out on PadSplit resources that the average room is $170 per week. How do I market some of my rooms at 190, 200, 241? How am I confident marketing it at that price point? Well, if you notice, my rooms are premium. For instance, the individual, I need to open this up real quick. Look at this, guys. So this is the floor plan. This is the old floor plan. I'm gonna let you guys look at that for a second. Old floor plan. Look at that really quick. And I'm going to show you the new floor plan. I have my guys go in there and do a whole floor plan. I'm going to get into more about how to optimize your listing tomorrow. I'm not going to talk about that now, but just while I'm here, I want to show you a quick snippet. New floor plan with the bedroom numbers. Bedroom 1, bedroom 2, bedroom 3, bedroom 4, bedroom 5, bedroom 6, bedroom 7, bedroom 8. Bedroom 8, big bedroom, premium room. Bedroom 4, big bedroom, premium room. So depending, if you have a reach-in closet, you can actually add another $5 to $10 of a premium per week. If you have a ceiling fan, you can add a couple extra bucks. If you have a bigger bed, like let's say a king size bed, you can also add a couple bucks. If you have like a porch or something like that, like they can walk out like a porch with no roof, not like a Florida room, but like a porch, they go out and there's some chairs, you can add a couple extra bucks. If they have their own climate control, you can add a couple extra bucks. What do I mean by climate control? Meaning like if they have their own AC unit in the wall or like a mini split ductless AC system. When I'm adding climate controls to my properties, I'm adding ductless AC systems. I do the mini split systems. They're most efficient and they're awesome. All this property right now is actually on its own climate control. There's only one room, which is the garage room. If you're doing garage conversions, you need to make sure that you're giving it its own climate control. A mini split unit is what they call them. Mini split ductless AC systems. They cost about, with installation and the product, it costs about, with materials, you're talking about $2,500 to $3,000 for like a 9,000 BTU unit, okay? No, Jose, I put king size beds in only the very premium room. So it's only in the garage room on this one. All these other rooms besides room 6 and 5, these have full-size beds. These rooms right here all have queen-size beds. The reason why I only did a full-size bed in 5 and 6 is because I can't fit a queen-size bed in there, okay? The room that has the king size is room 8. My garage conversions, usually I make them super, super premium. They always have their own AC. They have their own reach-in closet. They have their own desk. They have their own king-size bed. They have their own, like, where my big winner is on these houses are these garage conversions, because it's a waste of space. It's not being utilized. And if I can create another $1,000 a month out of my garage, then that I'm doing good. However, are you always putting king size beds in all the rooms? No. Yeah, no, I answered that. If the property has a carport, do you convert that? Carport conversion will take you 5 to 8 months minimum. You could do that and you can add a lot of value to your property, but it's too long. I don't want to have that much money in the deal, and time is of the essence. Remember, you're losing money day one when you close on the property. Why? Because you have holding cost. You are not making money day one. You are losing money. So you need to be able to get that property on the market on a PadSplit and advertised in service is what they call it. Okay. In service. That's what your accountant will say. Is your property in service? Because that's when you can really start deducting, I mean, I'm not going to get into that. Never mind. I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole nother conversation. So yeah, you could do carport conversions. I've done them in the past. I know a lot about conversions. We can deep dive that on a little bit later. Okay. So this is the property, just so you guys know, I wanted to show you, and then I'm going to show you this is one of the first ones, and I'm going to show you one more really quick before we get into the spreadsheet here. One of my really newest acquisitions. And this is the property to give you another reference point. Okay. Let you guys look through that. So look at this. Own climate control, mini split, ductless AC system. Right here. Own fan. I could charge more of a premium for this. I can charge more of a premium because I got a fan. I put a little couch here. I put a little stuff. See how I'm getting really unique with my product? Why am I getting unique, guys? Because more competition's coming into the market. Most PadSplit hosts aren't doing this. So how do I stand out? I got professional photos. I got good location. I got really nice rooms. Why wouldn't people want to book with me? This room right here, it's not booked yet. This is one of my newer properties. 2 nice windows. This was a garage, by the way, guys. This was a garage. King size bed, two nightstands. There's actually a TV on this side. You can't see it from here. A fridge, a night lamp, a lamp. Look at these rooms, right? They get a nice porch. This room gets a nice porch. There's another room. I don't know exactly how much utility that mini fridge costs, but I mean, you're talking such a small little thing that those things don't. With my 7 to 8 bedroom properties, I'm at like $400 a month in electric in my market, which is Florida. You have to run the AC at all times. Right? You can see how I went different color with the fridges. I have my photographer put lights or pictures on here. The TVs. See how my product has gotten more premium? Look at that kitchen. Do you guys think I built this kitchen out? No. When I'm buying my properties, this is what I'm telling you guys. I'm buying my properties and the kitchen's already like this. If I had to come in here, this particular property, I'm in like exactly $60,000. If I had to come in here and do this kitchen, that would have been another 15. If I had to do the bathrooms, that would have been another $7,500 per bathroom. I'd be in this property for almost $100,000 by the time I'm done with it. So make sure your properties have these type of updates, unless you're getting them for pretty much free. Okay. It really depends on what you're getting the deal. Wi-Fi is 500 megabytes for the entire house. No, Jose, I did not add the windows into the garage. Those windows are already there. All right. So this is the premium product. This is like my most premium one. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and add into the spreadsheet. Now you could do a worst case scenario. I think I have editing access to this now. I might have to reopen it. Actually, let me reopen this.
You can just hit the refresh button.
That's what I did. Okay. Yep. Oh, did I work? Nope. Let me refresh that again. Oh, this is still in view only. Here, let me just reopen it on the student guide here. All right. Any questions while I'm pulling up this calculator? We're going to now go into in thorough underwriting here. So what have we done here, guys? We know our buy box. We know what to do after we have our buy box. You got to scout for a deal. Once you have the deal or the deal that you're analyzing, you need to drive the neighborhood with Google Street View. Is the neighborhood up to par to your standards? Is it an A neighborhood? Is it an F neighborhood? Like, how about is the neighborhood walkable? Looking on Google, where's the bus stops? Where's the restaurants? Where are the big major employers? If you're in major metro markets, typically you will have all these things. But it's still good to know where the proximity is to your subject property, okay? If you need someone and you're investing in a market that you're not in, don't be afraid to reach out to find someone with the boots on the ground. People will walk properties for $40, $50 all day long. Get your videos, get your pictures, okay? Now, if you want to take it a step further, you can have them make a floor plan with the app on their phone and you pay them a little extra. We'll get into that tomorrow, okay? All right. So I'm going to use my Jacksonville property as an example here. My property, that deal was bought subject to underlying loan. I think I bought it for $340,000. Okay. Actually, let me go to my cash on cash calculator here. 1 second. You guys are going to be getting a copy of this too, so don't worry. So this is my this is my calculator that I use. You guys, a lot of you guys are asking me about it, and we're doing some modifications. We're going to add some other sections in it as well. But that property, I'm going to be at when it's 100% occupied. I'm going to be at my Jacksonville property. Okay. If somebody has a property they want me to analyze, I'm happy to do that for them right now. But we'll go on that in a sec. 6196 in income is what I said. 6,196. That is gross income. Okay. Times 12. That is 74,000. This is why PadSplit is beautiful. $74,352 per year. That's only if it's 100% occupied. How often are you going to be 100% occupied? Well, I haven't got 100% occupancy on that property yet. Okay. So it's going to get there, but it takes time. And that's why I want you guys to be able to allocate the right closing cost. Now, I know some people in some markets are in markets where there are no competition. You're going to get occupancy rates of 100% a lot quicker. But you should be running your occupancy rate when you're doing your underwriting at like 80 to 90%. So I know this property is doing 6196 a month. That's if it's 100% occupied. It's not 100% occupied. But I'm going to use this as an example, okay? That's with my room rates at where they're at. All right. Monthly, my PITI on this house, principal, interest, taxes, insurance is $1,600 a month. I have a 2.5 interest rate, bought it via subject to. Wholesaler brought me this deal. I'm the actual one who put the contract on the deal because the wholesaler did not have the tools in her tool belt to be able to execute on this deal. Okay. All right. That's my PITI. We're going to go down here to utility. My utility cost a month on this property. Now, a utility cost, guys, we consider a utility cost a variable cost. There's no fixed rate. It's not fixed. This is a variable cost. So you use an investor, you have fixed cost column and you have a variable cost column. Electric bill is a variable cost. Okay. I don't have snow, but I certainly do have grass, and I don't have pools. One question you guys are probably going to ask, should I do property with a pool? No, do not do properties with pools. You need to add that in your buy box. No properties with pools. Why? That is an extra expense, utility expense, maintenance expense, and capital expenditure expense, okay? My lawn at this property is $50 every 2 weeks, so it's $100 a month, okay? My insurance, I'm going to keep this blank because my payments are escrowed at $1,600 a month. PITI, principal, interest, taxes, insurance are all included in this one payment. Okay, just so you don't see me. Property taxes, I'm going to keep blank because it's all in this number right here. HOA is 0. I do not have an HOA. I do not buy an HOAs. I don't care if it's a voluntary HOA. I don't care if it's a $5 a month HOA. I'm going to say it one more time. Do not buy in HOAs. If I catch you buying an HOA, I'm going to have to hit you across the head. Okay. Cleaning fees on this particular property, on a property of this size. When I have a property that's 7 to 8 bedrooms, I have my cleaner going there every 2 weeks. The cleaner that I got for this property, I actually found them off TaskRabbit. We're going to go into that tomorrow on how I find my contractors, how I find my vendors, and stuff like that tomorrow. Okay. But that cleaner actually does my lawn and they do my cleaning. It's pretty funny, right? She charges me $50 for every time she cuts the lawn. That's $100 a month because she comes bi-weekly to cut the lawn. And then for the cleaning, she does just for the common areas. That means the kitchen, the hallways, the bathrooms, replacing the air filter every single month, checking to make sure there's no smoke smells, give me adequate pictures. She's pretty much my boots on the ground there, right? So think about this. She's at $50 a week or $50 every 2 weeks for the lawn care. And then she's at, for the cleaning, I believe I give her, yeah, because I'm giving her 50. I believe I'm giving her $70 every time she cleans the property. I have to look on my records, but I believe it's $70 every time I have her clean the property. Plus, I give her $50 for every time she mows the property. Okay. So that's $120, right? All right. So we're at $120 per month for cleaning. And then, so that's times 12. That's $1,440 a year I'm paying. I'm going to use a year basis. And the reason why, we all know wintertime in Florida, the grass ain't growing. So I'm going to eliminate that operating expense in the wintertime. Right? Yeah, sorry, Rashana, you're right. That's $70 a cleaning times 2. That's $140 just for the cleaning for the month, right? Plus, yes, $240. So she is correct. Sorry, $240 per month. That includes cleaning and that includes for her to do my lawn, right? Times 12 is 2880. So 2880. Cleaning. This 2880, my internet at that property is $50 a month times 12. That's 600 plus 2880. They don't have a column, so I just added all this in. So I'm going to put lawn here as well. So I'm at 3480 for the year. Right? So what we've gone over is principal, interest, taxes, insurance. We've gone over lawn. I don't do pool. This is just for lawn. Oh, I already yep. Actually, I already factored in lawn up here. I forgot I factored in lawn right here. So I can factor in paid up here. This is paid. Rashana asked, do you have to pay for garbage pickup? No, that's included in my my power bill includes my water, garbage, and electricity. It's $400 a month, roughly, for in the summertime, by the way. In the wintertime, it drops to, because again, it's a variable cost. That drops to about $250. Okay. We have the lawns up here, so we need to take away 3480, right? Minus 1200. 2280. All right. CapEx. Everything in this property is new. The roof's new, the plumbing's new, AC's new, all the cosmetic updates are new. Everything's new. I mean, already you just saw it, right? One thing you can factor in for CapEx is if your property does not have a newer roof or newer AC and stuff like that, you should probably be on the 10% range for CapEx. Okay. Me personally, being that all that stuff is new, I'm only allocating 310 a month to the oh shit fund, to oh, the AC broke and I need to replace it, or oh, I need to get a new roof, or oh, we have a plumbing leak, or oh, the toilet's not working, whatever. So capital expenditures, you need to allocate at least 5 to 10% minimum. If your property doesn't have these updates, minimum 10%, minimum. I don't recommend you go any lower than that, right? If your property needs a lot of updates. Management, PadSplit charges 15%. That's the old fee model. Right now they're charging 10 days of the first 10 days that they curate a member for your bedroom. After that, ongoing, it's 8%. So what we're doing is we're building this calculator out to where we're going to incorporate that in here. But I'm just going to use 15% because I still have this particular property. If you're on the old fee model, you actually still get charged the old fee model for old properties. Everybody ongoing that's coming into PadSplit as a new host like you guys and any ongoing properties that I start up, I will get charged 8% with the 10 days of the income going to PadSplit. Okay. But this is the new fee model. This property is actually still on the old fee model. That means I'm paying PadSplit $929 a month. Okay. Vacancies. You can factor in between 5 to 10% in vacancies, upwards to 15% in vacancies, depending on how much you want to do your underwriting. So this one, we can do 15%, right? I want to do 15% in vacancies on this one. Okay. Because remember, the property's just now stabilized. So my net cash flow on this deal per month is 1737 a month net. If 1737 a month. That's with me factoring 15% vacancies. That's what me factor in the PadSplit management fee. That's when we factor in 310 capital expenditures, the cleaning fees, the internet, lawn. I already factored in up here, so I can remove that. Lawn 100 a month. The utilities 400 and 1600 PITI. These are all my operating expenses to operate this one asset. Now, the way I utilize my team that is with the boots on the ground, like my cleaner, she is my eyeballs on that property. Even though that I have my outside cameras and everything, and I still have an eye on my property at all times, she is my eyeballs. Even though that she's not my property manager, I treat her as a property manager, not letting her know that she's a property manager. That's like one of my hacks. Other than that, I have my VA team, which I'm going to get into tomorrow, and how I structure that and how I incorporate them. Okay. So my VAs actually handle the whole entire customer service aspect of my business. I'll get into that more tomorrow. So this one property annually is doing about $20,849. Okay. So this is what, when you plug in your numbers, you need to be able to factor in all this type of stuff that I have here, plus your holding costs. This deal, I can come down in here into my, all this numbers like cash to seller. I have to really pull up the HUD to see exactly, but my cash to seller on this one was like 5K. It was a pre-foreclosure property. So my cash in all this deal, this particular deal, Jacksonville, was actually on the higher end for me. It was like $75,000, $80,000. I wasn't expecting all the holding cost. And that's what I want to prevent for you guys. I want you guys to be able to allocate at least 90 days of holding costs if you're doing this, depending on the market you're in. If you're in a market, there's no pad splits and you know there's super high demand, you can lower that number a little bit, but you want to factor at least 30 to 45 days for the renovation to get it up in service on PadSplit. And then you want to factor in another minimum of 30 to 60 days to get you to an occupancy rate of 80%. Super important that you guys do that. Any questions here so far? Cash flow predictions. Have they been accurate with my properties using the system? My cash flow predictions for this property are going to be accurate if I hit 100% occupancy. Yes. When I ran the numbers and when I did the underwriting for how do I get my room rates and stuff like that? Remember, the average room rate was 170, but that doesn't mean that I have to charge 170. That's just the average. I was able to have premium rooms because I created a premium product, right? And I was still lower than that studio apartment. So right now, for the properties I've done, yes, but this particular property, Jacksonville, I have been hit with a couple curveballs. Like for instance, I'm at 5 out of the 8 rooms rented, and the other 3 rooms have been vacant since day one. They never even had been occupied. But I didn't realize that. It's not that they're not going to get occupied. It's just so much more competition in that market, and there's a lot of inventory on the market for $140 a week. I can't compete with those guys. Now that member, what's going to happen? Let's talk about the member journey for a second. That member might go in and say, oh, wow, well, I got a $140 a week room, and maybe this is great and all, but I don't really feel safe walking around in my neighborhood. And they might take them a little time for them to understand that this is not an area that they want to live in. It might take them a couple weeks, right? So we also have to think, members on PadSplit, they have to make 2 times the monthly rent. So if your room's $800 a month, they have to make 2 times that. So maybe I'm also not capturing individuals on PadSplit who have the affordability for my rooms, because I do have a premium product. But I also don't want to make my rooms too cheap, because I don't want people in my rooms that aren't serious renters and who just, you get that riffraff when you go too cheap, you know? So I know eventually, me as the investor, as long as it's stabilized, I know eventually these rooms will book out and I will hit my cash on cash return projections. So other properties, like my Orlando property, to answer your question, it has done pretty much, Georgiana, it has done exactly what I thought it was going to do as far as cash flow, right? It's been pretty much down to the T. Like I was very happy with that one. This one's been a little bit longer. Palm Coast, that's more of a speculative market for me, right? You guys don't want to go into speculative markets. You're not at that point yet. I'm okay with going to speculative markets. But I talked about earlier why I went into speculative markets, okay? So, but that's pretty much it for the wrapped up of the PadSplit underwriting and how I underwrite deals. Now, remember, don't forget, if you guys felt like, if this has been any value, do me a favor, drop a 1 in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Was this any value to you guys? Do we have a market that we want to talk about? Do we have a deal that we want to analyze? No one's giving me anything. So everybody has it figured out. 1 times 50. I love you, Andrew. I appreciate that. Oh, Jimmy, let's get Jimmy off of here. Let's eliminate Jimmy. I got a deal. Talk about it. Let's get Jimmy up on here. Let's get Jimmy on here. Yeah, we're gonna take Jimmy out of here. Let's get Jimmy. What's up, Jimmy?
What's up? What's up?
What deal you got for me, bro?
I got my Daytona PadSplit. Let's run some numbers. I don't even know what I'm going to be charging for that.
Do it. I tell you, with that Daytona PadSplit, you can't make it look like the one that you just launched, man. You got to add some comforters on there, man.
Which one's that one?
I think you launched one that had like, you took pictures and there was like no bed sheets. It was just like the mattress protectors.
Oh, that's the one I self-managed, but that wasn't even listing pictures. That's just like me posting on Instagram.
Give me the zip code on the Daytona one.
32711, I think. Let me get the address.
711. All right, you're at 32711.
32117, my bad.
32117.
Yeah.
Wow. Ain't nothing on apartments.com over there. This is the first thing I look at, guys. Right? Do you want to disclose the address? You want to send it? Oh, you already did. Never mind. I got it over here.
Javier, also real quick, and everybody here. I think this will be a good time for everybody to not only just follow along, but let's go through the same process Javier just went through, right? Like he went to apartments.com. He plugged in the zip code, and now what's the next step? Anybody? Can anybody let me know in the chat? Like, what is the next step? I know what it is, but the next step, see who's been listening.
Not me.
Jimmy. So this is the house, right, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Okay. You replaced that roof yet?
We got it repaired.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'm gonna start from the very beginning so you guys realize. Like, Jimmy just sent me this address. Okay, boom, quick. Look how quick I got onto Google. I'm driving the neighborhood. Okay, this is a neighborhood I would invest into. It's not the prettiest, not the ugliest. It seems like a decent neighborhood. Like you can see cars are parked in the yard, right? Like even though there's neighbors that do really take care of their place here. See what I'm saying? Like Jimmy, great job on the neighborhood selection.
Neighborhood selected me.
Oh, it selected you. All right, all right.
You
Well,
know,
so all right. So
deals
now
land
check
where
this.
they land, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. So he's got a small driveway here. How many bedrooms is this, Jimmy?
This one is 8.
8 bedrooms?
Correct.
All right, perfect. It looks like you have 2 driveways. You got one here and you got one here.
So those are technically just the lawn, which I think even we were getting some code violations from the previous owner parking basically where you see them. So
Okay.
I gotta see with the city, see if I can actually turn those into parking spots, maybe with gravel or something.
Okay, so guys,
Um,
I want you guys to pay attention to something right here. He mentioned something. They're getting code violations for parking on the lawn. So there's no HOA here, right, Jimmy?
Correct.
Perfect. So one thing you guys got to consider, what do I see here? He's on a corner lot. He's on a main road corner lot with a stop sign right here. It would be hard for him to get cars to park right here, man, because you can't park cars in front of a stop sign. It's against the law, right? And so, as an investor, you should know and like, oh, wow, well, where are my people going to park? You already got code violations because people are trying to park in the yard. Well, okay, where's the other place they can park? Well, we got to look on this side road. So really, this is like your parking area here. But again, this is a main area. This is a main road area. This is not like a neighborhood road, right, Jimmy?
Correct. That's
Exactly.
it's a double yellow, so that gives you, I guess, a little bit of a
right. That's what I'm saying. This is not a neighborhood road. This is high traffic area, guys. Double
go
yellow.
down a little bit more
Go down.
to the end of it, basically the corner of the house. No. Go back to the house. So look right there. I know it's hard to tell, but there's basically a driveway that goes all
This
the
right
way
here.
back. Yeah.
Okay.
That goes all the way to the back, and then there's a garage in the back that probably won't be used. But that could be extra parking right there.
Yeah. So you could do, you're going to have to widen this so people can not park behind each other.
Yeah.
And you said it's going to be 8 bedrooms?
Correct.
Yeah. So one thing I see with this property right now, Jimmy, is you have a parking issue, right? You're going to have a parking issue at some point. Would you agree?
It depends on if I got away with the city in the front.
Okay. So talk to the city, see what you can do there. But when you guys
that driveway, I'm trying to see if I can get it to where people come in and go to the right. If I could do that, then instead of widening it, they just turn right. Not that driveway, but the other one, the one that you said you got to widen.
Oh, that one right here. Yep.
Like if they turn to the right, they'll be basically behind that fence.
Got it.
Get what I'm saying? So they come in and they turn to the right and then park like that way.
Yeah. So that's my point here is, guys, it's important for you guys to analyze how much parking your property's going to have. Now, being that he has 8 bedrooms, right, Jim? You're going to have 8 bedrooms?
Yeah.
Okay. Out of the 8 bedrooms, we know 40% of people don't have vehicles. Okay. Now, it's important for you at least have 4 parking spots, which I think you can pull out of here. You can get 2 right here. If you maybe knock this gate down, you could probably put another 2 spots here. So you should be fine,
Yeah.
You definitely want to get the city off your butt. But what I'm saying to you guys here is, on my last property I just showed you guys in Jacksonville, obviously I can get away with street parking because it's neighborhood streets. These aren't neighborhood streets. These are like main road streets. You see the double yellow line, right? Plus, he's on a corner lot. You can't park cars in front of a stop sign. It's against the law. You're going to have issues, right? But what I would do, Jimmy, is you go here to apartments.com and you literally have no inventory in your market. Like there's like nothing. Like,
What about 1 bedrooms?
well, that's what I was about to go to next. You go
I'm
to
about
one
to say.
bedroom. So even so, you have 15, you have 1525, 1546, 1050, 1599, right? So I would take 5 of these that are right next to your home on the map. Where's your home at? Reference to the map.
Where are we? Where are we? Let me see. It's close to the mall. I don't even know.
You don't know where your house is?
I sure don't. I never looked at it. 6th Street. I think down towards the bottom where it says Lake,
Right here?
somewhere around there.
Right here. This is 6th Street.
Yeah. So I'm
So
on
what you,
that right there, Cadillac, the second diamond to the left to, or
yeah,
the one to that one.
okay, but all right. So as long as we're in the general area, what I would say is I would take so this is 1 bedroom. So or yeah, these are 1 bedroom places. So you go $1,000, put that in your calculator. Take 5 of these. This is a 3-2. Let's go 5 of the cheapest one. This is 2,000, 1,000 or 1,050 to 1,475 for 1 bedroom.
Where's the calculator? Is the link on the chat? I don't see it.
No, you can just use your cell phone calculator.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. We're just going to take what we're going to do here, Jimmy, is we're going to go right where 6th Street is, which is right where your house is, this area. We're going to take the cheapest properties here. You got $1,000. Because remember, these people, their natural progression is going to be the next thing is going to be a studio or a 1 bedroom apartment.
Right.
1,000. This one's 2,000. Or this one, sorry, this one's 1,000. This is an apartment building. 1,050 to 1,475. Right? Let's get 3 more. 1,300, 1,500, and 1 more. Ready? We want to stay as close as your area as possible. This is 990. These start at 995. What number are you at?
Total?
Total between all those 5.
That's 5845 divided by 5.
Divided by 5, which is the average, guys. We're getting the average.
Average is 1169.
Okay, 1169. Let's put a 20% discount on 1169, which is 233.80. You want to minus from 1169. 1169. That's $935 per month and 20 cents. Did you get that number?
$925.
Yes, because what I did, Jimmy, was we took 5 of the cheapest properties right in your neighborhood for 1 bedrooms. There was no studios, so we can't compare studios. We took 5 of the 1 bedroom apartments, right? We took the sum of the 5, the average. We came up with what number was that for the 5?
9 total?
No, total. What was the average out of the 5?
Oh, 1169, I believe.
1169. What I did was I discount that number between 20 to 30%. I did 20%. You could do 30%, but you discount that number between 20 to 30%, right? And I deduct that from the rate, which brings it down to 935 and 20 cents.
935.
Yes. And 935 divided by 4, because now you want to get your weekly rate, is 233. So if you go into PadSplit, are you on
any reason you do by 4 and not like a more accurate
you could do 4, or you can do, or are you talking about I go 4 because I want to know the weekly rate.
Right, but technically there's more than 4 weeks in a month. It's like 4.2. So I usually
you can do
the math by like 52, or I'll do about 12 months and I'll divide it by 52. Will give me
there you go. You could do it that way too as well. You're gonna get a similar number, but yes, you can do it that way as well. If you want to do a calendar year, that's perfectly fine. You can go that route as well. That's not a problem.
Because your number will technically be higher, right?
Mine will probably be a little bit higher than yours. Yes. Mine will probably be higher than yours. It depends. Remember, underwriting guys, you can take 4 underwriters. They're all going to have different scenarios. Underwrite is it's very subjective to a lot of people, right? People have different ways of doing things is what I'm saying. Now, as long as you're being very conservative, which I always say do worst case scenario and best case scenario, that way you're not, you know what to expect, right? Now, you did 8 bedrooms there, you said.
Yeah.
Okay. And that market is what market? What zip code was that again?
32117.
Let's see Daytona. Let's see if they have any data on Daytona. Depending if PadSplit has data or not, they'll have it here. Oh, perfect. Oh no, that's Jacksonville. Nope. Let me try your zip code. 32117. 32117?
Mm-hmm.
Holly Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
The city for the house is Daytona Beach, but Holly Hill is like right next door.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it might just be sharing zip codes or
Yeah,
something.
so Daytona is a newer market. I know Daytona is a newer market for you guys.
Yeah.
So they don't have a bunch of data. See that when you go to use the resources, guys, and you're in a newer market, PadSplit doesn't have enough data, so they're not spitting out stuff here, right? So what you could do, instead of doing 20% on the number, deducting, maybe do 30 as your worst case.
Okay. I want to say there was somebody that had a house there. I want to say there was one, and I believe it was.
No, there are. I know there's PadSplits there. There's probably like a handful of them, right? So again, if you go to padsplit.com and we go to Daytona, these are advertised as the cheapest rooms. That's what they advertise here. So 185 per week. 185 per week. I don't know why the computer's doing that. 185 per week and 199 per week. That's what these guys are charging, right? Those are the cheapest rooms. Now, if you click on this, those are the cheaper rooms. If you go down and you see, they only have one room left at 185 with a $100 move-in fee. And they're actually doing pretty decent, they could have did better on the pictures, but Jimmy, you need to be making them look very, very warm and welcoming, just like this. They went above and beyond. They added an extra chair, little accent table, rug, nice bed, look comfortable. So your premium room, you could like that garage room. Did you convert the garage on that room on that property?
You said 7 bathrooms. Goddamn.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Look, 20 open parking spots.
What the hell?
This is a 13 room, 7 bath. This is huge. This is a multi-family property.
Yeah. I did not convert the garage actually. Garage is still there.
Yeah. Yeah. So
it's a big house. I actually didn't even maximize as much as I could have. It's big house. And yeah, the garage still intact.
Are the rooms a good size or no?
Yeah. They're all like 10 by 10. If not
queens,
like
you can get queen beds in them. Can you?
Those are the that I order the fulls for, so it'll be full.
Okay. So can you get desk and refrigerators in them? Do they have reach-in closets?
They all have closets, but now there's one that doesn't have closet. They all will get desk. Nah, maybe not all, but most of them. I'll see, because there's 2 rooms that are a little bit smaller, so I got to see how it lays out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I plan on putting all that in there.
Yeah. So here's what you do know, Jimmy. Here's my point. Here's what you do know. If you go to studios and you go to Daytona, there ain't nothing around. There's just nothing. Yeah. 32117. When I compare and I use when I'm doing a search and I'm looking to get data to see what I can charge per room, I don't really like to use 1 bedrooms. I rather use studio apartments, because really studio apartments probably studio and a 1 bedroom is going to be their next progression in life. But I really want to look at what studio apartments are going for. If we have to use 1 bedrooms, okay, we'll use 1 bedrooms, But we can see in your neighborhood off of 6 right here, where you're at, we're pulling these cheapest comparables in this area, right?
Yeah.
I would say your premium rooms can be on that higher end, because if you go back to PadSplit resources, there isn't any inventory in your market. And PadSplit's a really good market because you guys have a lot going on, or excuse me, Daytona's a good market because you guys have a lot going on over there. You see what I'm saying? There's no
Yeah.
inventory. This guy, look, Jimmy, he's got one room left. This guy is he's getting ready to be on PadSplit. You know, so in the resource tab, guys, when you're in the resource tab, if there's no data that pulls up on the interactive map, you have to make a decision and say, okay, well, you're only relying on the apartments.com, Zillow, homes.com, wherever you're going to search for your comparables. You have to rely on adding up the average of the properties that are in your neighborhood that are 1 bedrooms and studio apartments. And Jimmy, you're going to want to start on that higher end of the spectrum, and then you could do price reductions as you need to, like let's say $10, $15, right? But what I would do,
So you would start at the 235?
well, no, I wouldn't start at the 235 range. I would probably discount yours a little bit more. Instead of doing 20%, maybe 30%.
Okay.
But the rooms that are more premium, if you have, I don't know what your layout looks like, but if you have like a room that has like its own climate control, own AC, own private entrance, if you have a couple of those in the house, you can start those at the higher range. Let's say, 219, 225 range. Up,
Okay.
The low twos. The other
Yeah.
one, you're gonna probably want to start, at the, I would say based on where these guys are at, he's got one room left. He's got one room left at 185, 199. If you have really nice rooms, really good layouts, you have the reach-in closets, the ceiling fan, the nice mattresses, the nice bed frames, the desk, the chair, all that stuff, you can go around that low 2 range. The smaller rooms that don't have all those amenities, you're going to want to be right around that like 189 range per room. And then
Okay.
what I would do, Jimmy, is don't put any moving fees. Remove the moving fees. You want less barrier entry. The key thing is to stabilize the asset right away. After people you have the asset stabilized and people move in and out, then you can add the moving fees.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Why you're adding the moving fees then?
Yes.
So that's what I would do. But unfortunately, on your map, you don't have the interactive map like I do in Jacksonville and Orlando or in Tampa, where you can see what they're basing the average room rates off. They don't have enough data in that area. So you need to base yours off of running comparables, the average of 5, and then you can do it just like how you said. You can get the whole year and then deduct it by like 30%, come up with that room rate. And then your more premium rooms, you charge, let's say, $15 to $20 extra. Start them higher, test the market, see how the market responds. But you know that for your rooms, Jimmy, you're going to be at like 189 per room, upwards to probably like 219-ish is what I would say.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, that's where I would be.
Sweet.
Anybody else have any questions?
How do you do the pre-market thing?
You just go on there and you upload your have you set up a profile on PadSplit?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So when you go on there, it'll say add property. You go in there, you add property. So like this is mine, and you just go to the dashboard and it will say add property somewhere in this area. And when you add it, it'll say coming soon. You'll put the coming soon toggle on. That's what you want to do.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't need to fill out the rest of the property stuff, just
Yeah, it'll ask you a few things like how many bedrooms you have, how many bathrooms you have. It's gonna have you do like all the preliminary stuff,
okay.
but you just do as best as you can. You can always go in there and revise it. So what I showed you just now, this guy here on PadSplit, not him. Let me see, PadSplit, watch. This guy that I showed you a second ago, he is this guy is a coming soon listing. Watch. That's how you can tell. So like these guys are available to book now. They're open. They're up for service, right? No, by the way, no move-in fee, Jimmy. They advertise that. They push it, right? Anytime you do room discounts and stuff like that, they also push it. So like this guy He's got no moving fee, but he hasn't done any promotions or anything. But look at this. Like, come on. Like, this is your competition, bro. This thing looks
You're not sharing screen if you're showing us.
Huh?
You stop sharing screen.
Oh yeah, sorry. I forgot. Let me get you back up on there. All right. So this guy right here is your competition. Like, come on. Not,
With the grandma furniture?
exactly. Grandma furniture, 19, like, you know what I mean? Like you're gonna outdo this guy all day long.
That's like a hotel
Like a
sale.
hotel vibe, right? This is what I'm saying. Like it's poor quality.
Yeah,
poor
I was thinking about doing even accent walls on all the rooms and whatnot.
You can, but again, I mean, it's yes, it's going to showcase well.
I know nobody has gone that far yet, but bring the Airbnb to the PadSplit.
Yeah, I have seen some people do. I have seen some people do some accents, but what I was saying here earlier, see where it says alert me to book?
Yeah.
Right here. This guy's going to be ranging between 210 to 260. Alert me to book. That means this guy's on the coming soon. Right? This guy's on coming soon. See how his property is being advertised?
Yeah.
So what happens is the PadSplit member comes in here, they can put their email and SMS, and then that way they can get alerts as well.
Got
it comes live. But you'll start getting data points and they'll tell you how many people are interested in your property, by the way. That's pretty cool. It gives you the metrics on it.
How far, like how soon do you post it? Like as soon as you go on the contract?
ASAP. You could start marketing it right now. Just get an ugly picture. It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, I'm doing it right now. I'm just for future reference. Like it might, because I've had this property now probably for 6 months. Yeah. I'm probably the worst great example to launch fast, but
yeah. So what I would say is go ahead and do it.
Had it on there for 6 months.
Yeah, you haven't had it on there 6 months, you said?
No, should I have had it? Nah, I don't even have it on the.
Yes, I mean, I would do it day one because remember, you want to get people's interested in when you go live, they ping all those people via SMS, whatever they choose, or email. You need to get more people on there.
Got it.
Cool.
I'm listening to it right now.
Yeah, do it right now. Awesome. Any questions, guys, before we wrap up here? Drop a 1 in the comments if this was informative for you guys today. We went over a lot of stuff. I've been nonstop since 12 p.m. We went over a lot of stuff. This was helpful. Any big takeaways? Remember, we're doing the challenge. The more you guys are interactive, cameras on. If you guys have a question, we're going to open up right now here in a second, the Q&A. Matt, is there anything that we've missed so far, other than us jumping into the Q&A and asking Q&A questions? No pools, no HOAs. Yes, I love it. Any other big takeaways, guys? Let me know what you learned. Let me know in the comment section. Make sure you download the student guide that Matt just put in the chat. And if you haven't already, make sure you go and like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. We actually have the video of the property I was talking about in Jacksonville. We actually had that up and live on YouTube. We took it from the walkthrough of the property previously before it was a PadSplit all the way to the PadSplit transition. If you want to check out that video, you can also check out my other videos on how I did my other acquisitions and how I converted my other properties as well. And don't forget, Matt's writing down a list of the engagement, the people who are engaging the most. Matt's writing them down to get extra points in tomorrow's giveaway.
So what I went ahead and did is for all of you that are here that may have missed day one, we don't have the replays up for access to the general public, but I just dropped the day one student guide in there. Towards the bottom, there's a section where Javier reviewed his properties that he has PadSplit. There's already the YouTube videos attached to each one for his Winter Park, Jacksonville, and Palm Coast. So for those of you here that are on day two, the day two and day one student guide are there for you. The calculator, everyone can access the calculator underneath the image of the calculator. There's a lot going on in that calculator. We've compiled it together. We're pulling from different resources. It may look very similar to something you've come across in the past. Our goal is to update that calculator over time. So please make a copy. That is the original one. Not everyone should be able to edit it right away. And then once we get a newer version out, we'll release it to everybody in the free group. So if you haven't joined the free Take Flight Challenge free group over on Facebook, I'll drop that here in a second as well. Make sure you get in there and I'll start accepting you into the group.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. So let's jump right into Q&A really quick. Anybody who has questions, please either drop them into the chat or raise your hand and we will circle.
Check the bottom of day 2 hand guide. We got the Q&A questions posted there. Some of those that didn't get answered.
Okay, let me get that. I'm gonna pull that up. Let me go ahead and screen share 1 second. All right, let me see. Who do we got? All right. So let me see. You put it under it's day 3. Okay, I see it now. All right, perfect. I think we answered this first one. This was from Jose Rivera. Do you consider wood frame houses for pad split, or is that a deal breaker? Actually, great question, actually. Me as a real estate investor, I prefer to go all block. I just prefer block construction as a preference. Wood frame properties are more susceptible to getting termites, invasions and termite problems, but doesn't mean that since you have a block property that you're not going to get termite issues. You can still definitely get termite issues with block properties. Anything there's wood, you can get either dry wood or subterranean issues at your property. But me personally, as an investor, I prefer block homes. I do own properties that are wood frame, stucco, stuff like that. So my preference is block, but I still do buy wood frame and stucco properties, Jose. And does that answer your question? Jose? All right. I'm gonna move on. He's probably not listening. All right. Let's see. Let's see. When you take over a subject to okay, when you take over a subject to, do you get additional insurance or do you just add yourself as an additional insured? Yes, correct. Subject to properties. One of the reasons why due on sale clause gets called, one of the reasons, there's many, but it's if your insurance agent doesn't record the insurance the proper way. I actually have a really good insurance agent that does subject to deals, insurance. I actually add as the addition, or I actually am the primary insured and the owner, the previous owner of the property is the additional insured. Okay. To answer your question on the subject to deals.
So Javier, you get a new policy altogether then?
Yes, I get a landlord policy.
Okay, and then they cancel the old policy, or you just let that?
You cancel. What's going to happen is you're going to cancel the old policy, right? You're going to get a new policy because that policy that's currently on the property is a homestead policy. If you were to have something catastrophic happen at your property, you're not going to be covered. You need to switch into a landlord policy with liability coverage. That way, if somebody slips and falls or something like that, you're covered. Now, another thing you could consider is as your portfolio grows, you can add something that's called an umbrella policy to all your assets. And that's even including like your vehicles. If you go down the road, you hit somebody while they're driving and you kill them, which it happens, unfortunately, you actually have coverage there. But all my properties, we have a landlord policy in place and the owner is added as additional insured.
And do you know what number people go like for the umbrella policy? How many properties or a certain amount of value of property when people start doing that, where it becomes cost effective?
For the umbrella?
Yeah.
I mean, you could do it as soon as, when it comes to liability and having yourself exposed, you can talk to several different attorneys. They're all going to have different answers. Like, make an example. A lot of people are like, oh, how many properties do you put in per entity, an LLC? It's really subjective to your risk tolerance, really. It depends on how exposed you want to be. Now, if you have that initial landlord policy, you're good there and you should have coverage there. But we all know when something goes wrong and you try to get these insurance companies involved, they like to run the other way. That's the reality, right? And so when you have an additional insurance policy, like an umbrella policy, where you're protected with even your vehicles inside of that policy, and you go and get someone hit. So like you could do this as soon as like one property. Because remember, even if you have one property, an umbrella policy, just so you know, like a $3 million is like $80 a month, right? You can get it through Geico, Allstate, stuff like that. But you can get like $80 a month on this type of policy. You can throw your cars in there, your other property, you could throw multiple things in there. Talk to your insurance agent. But I would say one property can work, but you might say, hey, you know what? It's not cost effective for me right now. My portfolio is not big enough. I don't really want to add on all this. When I'm doing my properties and I'm structuring them, I make sure that my insurance agent knows that this is going to be a rental. I tell them it's gonna be a PadSplit. So they make sure that they give me a little bit higher liability coverage, stuff like that. So it really depends on your risk tolerance,
Okay, cool. Super helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Was today helpful for you?
That was awesome.
What,
Like
can
information
you
from a fire hose, right?
can you give me your biggest takeaway?
Yeah, the no pools, because I always think like hot place, you want a pool. But yeah, I can understand the liability and the maintenance and not really helping yourself.
Got to resurface it every several year. You don't need the cost. So.
Hey, Javier, before we move forward, I think the rest of the questions on the bottom of the list were answered earlier, so I highlighted them green. So the floor is open, but I do want to make another announcement. Javier, I couldn't remember if you did this. I know we're going to be doing buy boxes for homework tonight. So if you get your buy box completed, please post it inside the free Facebook group. If you post your buy box in the free Facebook group, make sure you tag me. So what I'm doing is I'm going to take the information as a regular post, and I'm actually going to go create graphics very similar to the way Javier shared his on the student guide. I don't mind. I'm going to come in and I'm going to make you all a nice square graphic of your buy box and send that back to you guys. So join the free Facebook group, drop your buy boxes in there, tag me in it, and I'm going to make a nice design for you guys to use for your marketing efforts. So when you're trying to raise capital or trying to find wholesalers that are trying to bring you deals, that was one of the things I wanted to give you guys as a gift today for being here live and sitting with us.
Yeah. And so when you guys go into these Facebook groups, you can easily post your buy box, chat GPT, more of a description if you want, boom, post it real quick, post it through all the groups. You'll get flooded with wholesalers trying to send you deals. And that's why it's important to create that buy box. So let's go ahead and open the floor up so we can answer any additional questions. No, you're welcome, man, Andrew. I really appreciate your support. Anyone have any questions? I know a lot of information today. I know it's a lot we went through, but I want to make sure everyone is clear. They're going to create their buy box. And if you have any addresses that you want to look at us for the dissect, I'll happy to do that tomorrow on the real quick on a recap, just to show you how quick, it is. Like just for instance, I pulled Jimmy's property up and I was able to say he's going to have some parking problems, but he's trying to mitigate that. So what's up, Jimmy?
Question on how are you funding most of your acquisitions? Are you self-funding, private money? What's your go-to?
Right now, I'm to the point where I have private money lenders with capital, and they're like, hey, Javier, I love what you're doing. I love that. I know you're a good operator. I know I can trust you. Like at Squad Up Summit, I'll make an example. I'm working with a guy right now. He's got $400,000 liquid. He's like, look, I'll fund the deal. We'll be 50-50 partners. I'll have upside in the deal. He'll have upside in the deal. Most likely I'll structure it to where I'm 49 or 51% owner. He's 49% owner, silent partner. And then cash flow will be split 70-30. So I have PMPs, which not a big fan of PMPs. I prefer private money lenders. PMPs right now are for all my future deals, and I don't have to use any of my capital. My past deals, being that I have other businesses that are very huge cash intensive, where they bring me a lot of money in, like I have a listing sales company. I have, my Airbnb portfolio. So I needed to move money around. So I funded a lot of my own deals with my own money, but you don't have to do that. You guys are probably not at a point where I'm at. So I would recommend either go PMP route and you use your skill set. Like a lot of people in here, you're probably like, well, how do I approach the PMP? Well, the PMP, here's the cool thing. The private money partner, the cool thing about that is like, Jimmy, you have a skill set, bro. You have a proven track record. You are the daily, the daily, what is it? What do you put? The daily guy, real estate
Day
investor?
in the life.
The day in the life of a real estate investor. That's what you put. Yeah. The day of life of real estate. Like, people know you're out there doing deals. You can
Yeah.
actually approach people who have money and say, hey, look, why don't I be the operator? You fund the deal and we both have equity. But, you know, it's like kind of like it's what Pace does. Like, there's a lot of money that Pace doesn't bring no money to the deal. He just has the skill set. He has the know-how. He's got the connections. So now you can create that in your local market, right? So that's what I would do, because you do have that skill set and you can start bringing people in as PMPs if you're okay with a PMP.
Yeah.
But if you can
I got
go,
a ton of people that want a PMP with me, but I don't want PMPs right now. So
yeah, it's that I'm not a big fan of them. I will do PMPs. I'm very selective who I partner with. But I am always happy. So if anybody in here ever wants to partner with me, I'm definitely open. But I prefer to raise capital, private money lending. I 10 to 12% interest only. And if you're gonna go private money, guys, you need to make sure that you're at least getting the money for, I would say, 36 months, you know, because it's going to take a while for you to stabilize the property. You need to find somebody who has lazy capital, a 9-to-5er, who is willing to deploy their 401k money into your deal, or their money that they just won on a scratch off ticket into your deal. Those are the best ones, guys. Sometimes I say raising money outside the communities are really good. Your friends, your family, your people that you like, trust me, you have more access to capital than you know what to do with. You don't realize until you really start searching for it, you know? So right now, my future deals are all PMPs and PML deals.
you say your PMP, you structure 51-49 and then 70-30. Who gets the 70? I'm guessing you.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the 70 on it, because remember, I have that's what I'm negotiating. So I have my VAs that are come in. I have that cost, right? Not only that, we're managing every single thing for them. So they're pretty much 100% passive on the deal. There's nothing that they're worried about. They're not contacting vendors. They're not worried about customer service. They're literally 100% hands off. The individual that I'm actually working with out of San Diego, he actually wants to be more hands-on. So it's important when you guys are talking to your PMLs or your PMPs, you need to have a clear understanding of what are they looking for? What type of return are they looking for? How involved do they want to be? Because even though I'm telling you guys all this, you might talk to a PMP that wants everything to do with the deal, or you might talk to a PMP that doesn't want anything to do with the deal. So there are no rules, Jimmy. You can structure whatever you want. And that's the beauty about this, guys. We do creative finance. We raise capital. We take down deals creatively. So, you know, it really depends on what you structure with that individual. Some I might do 60-40. Look, if we're doing a deal together, you're going to be more hands-on. Let's talk about a 60-40 split. We get 100% upside. I get 100% upside. I have 51% ownership in the deal. You got 49% ownership. A lot of times, if I'm doing PMP, I prefer to make them silent partners where they don't have voting rights. And again, it keeps things a little bit more streamlined. There's not just two minds thinking a different way. You know, hey, look, when you have your pitch deck, you send them your pitch deck and you tell them what your exit strategy is up front. That way there's expectations. When you're holding the asset for 5 to 7 years, you don't have to worry about, oh, well, let's sell in year 3. And I want to get out of this deal. Now, you can always replace these people too, by the way. That's the beauty about this. You can always replace them. And another thing too, Jimmy, even though I self-funded a lot of my deals because I have a lot of capital from my other businesses, I can actually sell a position in my deal, right? Hey, Jimmy, you want to get in my deal? I'm right now doing a 30% cash on cash return, right? Hey, here's what it takes for you to get in my deal. 30K buy-in, 40K buy-in. You have to buy your chips like poker, right? You have to buy into my deal. And this is how they would do. So I can also do that. And I intend on doing that as well. Like my Jacksonville deal, once I get it up to 7 bedrooms out of the 8 bedrooms rented, I'm going to start prospecting. And out of those 7 bedrooms, once they're rented for at least 6 months and I can show that track record and I have really clean books, I can start approaching people saying, hey, look, do you want an equity position in my deal? Right? Start getting access to that capital. Because guys, remember, life is about velocity of money. How much money are you in that deal, that Daytona deal for?
Too much. I'm actually not that much. I have a private money partner in there, one of my best friends. So we pretty much went 50-50. Well, he funded 90 grand of it. 45 was purchased because it was like 30 in arrears and then whatever, closing costs and all the other stuff. And then he put 45 into the rehab. And then I cover anything over that, which so far has been, I don't know, call it 30 to 40.
Yeah, 30 or 40. So you say you're about 90 total in the deal?
No. Probably like 120.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
That's a lot of money. So
It is.
you're in a point probably where you guys weren't expecting to put that amount of cash in the deal.
Nah, I wasn't too far off. Wasn't too far off, but most of it I didn't put in there, so I wasn't too worried about it.
I mean, you're talking that house, to be fair, you're probably going to be, if it's fully occupied, you're probably making about 5,500 to 6K a month on that house,
Yeah.
And what's your PITI?
16 something.
16. So you have a low PITI, but then again, like I spoke about earlier, I'm not sure if you saw me go through all the operating expenses. You got your lawn, you got your internet, you got your miscellaneous, capital expenditure budget that you need to account for. You have your vacancies, you have, all these other operating expenses, so you'll probably be left with on that deal between $1,500 to maybe $2,000, on that deal, But here's the beauty. Here's the beauty about this, guys. For Jimmy in his situation, if the house is paying for itself and he's cash flowing, he's still getting loan pay down, he's still getting 27.5-year depreciation. He can still really get his money out if he's smart about it. You can pull that money out at some point, right? In time. You have a piece of collateral. You get all these other benefits when you own a piece of real estate. That's why it's beautiful. You get a future appreciation as well. So like that deal, even though you have a lot of money in that deal, which that's way higher than I ever want to be in a deal, but you're getting all these other benefits.
It's not my own money. That's why I didn't really care too much.
No, I understand. But you should always treat it like it is your money, right? But that's okay.
It's still going to generate a good return. I'm not saying I put somebody's money in a bad deal.
Yeah.
The cash on cash makes sense for everybody. But all the smaller ones, I'm able to take down myself. And then this bigger one, then I brought in a private money partner that was basically begging me to get on a deal. And I'm like, all right, it'll still make money for everybody and everybody's happy. And it is a big, the biggest probably one that we done.
Yeah. Look, and guys, I'm gonna sit here and tell you, like my Jacksonville deal, I'm in there way more money than I was expecting. But again, I had a lot of miscellaneous costs I didn't account for. When you start doing these, and tomorrow I'm going to get into like what it costs for construction, where you can account for that stuff. Even like Jimmy, like in our market, we can use a good rule of thumb for construction, stuff like that. Like you do a lot of renos, so you understand that. So it's important for you guys to understand that as well. But it's important. We didn't know, like I didn't realize it would cost me about I don't know what you did, but I leverage out my teams to do all the furniture assembly. I'm roughly about $250 per room to get somebody to come in there and assemble all the furniture. Now, I've gotten quotes for like $12K for people to come in and assemble furniture. I'm going to go into more about that tomorrow, guys. But like, I wasn't expecting to $250 on addition to the furniture cost per room. So what I'm saying to you guys is this can become a money pit if you're not careful and you don't have expectations, right? For you, Jimmy, you start out those rooms between 189, your more premium room, to like 219-ish. Test the market, because remember, you're in a market to where there's not inventory for studios. There's some inventory for one bedrooms, but there's no inventory for studios. But there's no inventory for bedroom rooms. You can also check on like Roomster and Airbnb, see what people are charging for rooms on there. Bedrooms, only bedrooms, not full houses, only bedrooms. See what people are charging. And then what I would do on the third one, Jimmy, go on your Facebook groups, all your local real estate groups in that county, in Daytona, and see what people are charging for bedrooms there as well. That way you have a grasp of the market. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So check those.
I got a property like 5 minutes on the block that we're self-managing. So I have a pretty hands-on, firsthand experience on that.
Oh, there you go.
But I don't have the PadSplit experience, so that's why I was kind of trying to see the sides.
Look, it's no different. You're just using PadSplit right now. You're a co-living operator. Like guys, this is a perfect example. Jimmy is a co-living operator already. He just doesn't use PadSplit. Now the property he's about to get going right now, he's gonna be using PadSplit. So all he's doing different is putting his property on a marketplace, which is PadSplit. That's it. He's still a co-living operator. PadSplit's now just gonna do all the marketing for you. Right? They're going to streamline the process. They're going to do the background check, the credit check, the employment verification, which these three things, it's a third party who does it. They don't even do it themselves. Right? And then they're gonna do the they're gonna have that nice you'll like the platform. It's a very nice platform. They've done a very nice job. The engineering behind it is very, very, very robust system that they've done, you know. So awesome. Any other questions, guys? What you got, Rashana?
I don't know if I want to ask it or not. I might open up a can of worms.
Go ahead.
You may not have time today, but I've come across several instances where someone is already selling a house that's already been converted to a PadSplit.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe tomorrow, if we have time, if we can do kind of like a comparing a house that's already been converting and purchasing it versus buying a house and converting it.
Yeah, so yes, we can absolutely. If we have time, for sure, I could deep dive into that. I mean, really, the only difference, the big difference is if you're buying an operation already in business. Most important thing for me is I want to know the rent roll. I want to see that trailing rent roll of 3 to 6 months. Really, like if you can see, like I'm going to say the T12, but that's the trailing 12 months. That's a multifamily term. Being that we're really doing multifamily stuff here and we're taking single families and turning them to multifamilies, I want to know what the last 12 months is doing, right? The T12, right? 12 months. Have they, you know, what their numbers are, how organized they are. Because if you're going to buy a fully turnkey PadSplit, which I'm be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of because a lot of them are mismanaged. A lot of them are mismanaged. They have shitty furniture. They have shitty, like I like to be able to do, we like to do our own member placements because we vet our members, right? And we know that not anybody's just living at our properties. Like we take off the instant booking. So it would have to be a really killer deal. And a lot of those ones that are for sale, by the way, are overpriced because they're trying to sell them on an income approach because, you know, they're looking at it as like commercial, even though it's still residential and it should be sold on a comparison approach, meaning like comparables. I've seen a lot of those, Rashana, just so you know, and they've been all like ridiculous overpriced. And then like you start looking at the pictures and you're like, dude, the furniture sucks. They probably have shitty members. I'd rather do my own placement, my own tenant placement in there. I'd rather do that. And not only that, we're in the business, Rashana, and you know just as well as me, we're in the business of buying properties creatively, right? Via subject to or seller finance. You know, if you have to come in there and it's not a creative deal, you're going to have to be subject to bank loans, right? You want to use a bank loan? No, you have too many tools in your tool belt to not use a bank loan, you know? So you're going to see a lot of those. They want conventional financing, you know? Not all of them. I have seen many of them that are subject to via subject to, but they just have really bad operators. And like, do you really want to inherit the headache? You can, and that's fine. You guys can do that. But I rather do my own build outs because I'm doing it very unique. There's no property I'm going to buy that's unique as what I'm doing. Did you see the pictures I was showing you earlier? Yeah. So finding something like that, you know, it's hard to find. So, but yeah. What else we got? Floor is open for you guys. Any questions? Any questions?
I had another question about the private money partners or the lenders. I thought like I'm going to launch my first PadSplit, so obviously I want to get experience before I go asking for money. I'm going to self-fund, but my idea was to actually go and get money after the fact, right? Once it's operating. Do you think that you would get a better, like you could negotiate a better deal in that way? Like talking about the 70-30 split because it's already proven people aren't really taking a risk on something at that point, or just, you know, deciding based on a spreadsheet.
It depends. If you're putting them in as a private money partner, they're you know, most likely if you have no track record, that is a lot better than to see that it's you're an operator, you're a good operator, and you have an operating PadSplit, right?
Right.
For a private money lender, they're just going to really underwrite the deal as if I ever have to take this deal back and I have to foreclose, right? Because I have a lien position on this property. Typically, it's either first or second lien position. What's my risk there, right? At the end of the day, they're getting paid no matter what a PML is. They don't care if that property is performing or not. Now, they want to know what your exit strategy is, but at the end of the day, they're going to look at it as like, what is my criteria to lend? Okay, well, if I have to take this property back, it still fits in my parameters as a lender, and I'm still getting paid 12 to 14% as a PML, whether your property performs or not. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A PMP, different story. They're gonna, if you have no track record, they're gonna want to see some type of operating pad split for it to be, viable for them to get in. But you're absolutely right. It might be harder to convince people because you're not an operator. People don't know, like, and trust you in that space yet. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean it's impossible. It does not mean it's impossible. Just gonna be a little bit tougher, a little harder.
Valid. Yep, for sure. One more question about the PMP. So you said 36 months would be, you'd want to get a PMP for that long, or sorry, PML for that long? Yeah, PML for that long.
Minimum.
Makes complete sense. But if you couldn't and you can only get it for a year, would you just filter them out and bring someone new in, or you just wouldn't bother with them?
Yeah, you could filter them out and bring someone new in. 12 months, man, it's just such a tight, I don't really want to even have that on my mind. Really, I really don't. Yes, you could filter them out and bring someone else in. That's also a strategy as well. But really, I mean, I think there's plenty of people out there that will let you lend between 24 to 36 months. You want to look for the people who are the 9-to-5ers, who got lazy capital, who got 401ks that aren't doing anything, those are the individuals that you want to be speaking to, because if they're typically in the real estate industry, they just know too much and they're not going to be your ideal lender, right? So you have to create your ideal avatar lender profile. Who you want to go after? Is it the individual who works a 9-to-5? Yes, probably. Yes. So, or what industry are they in? Are they in the tech industry? Right. And who do you resonate with? When you create that avatar lender, you can start really going after those people for your deals. If they're in real estate, they probably know way too much, and it's gonna be a lot harder, right? They're a little more fun.
It's all gator lenders, right? They want to turn their money in like a day.
Yeah, the gator community, I mean, yeah, they want to turn their money in 2 days,
Yeah.
And yeah, that's just not realistic. So that's what I would do. Look for the people who will lend you between 24 to 36 months minimum, because you need that time. You just need that time. And to be honest, there's people out there who would be happy to get 12% on their money for that long. There's plenty of people. Because remember, a gator, you constantly have to have your money revolving into deals for you really to be making the return that you think you're making. If your money's not constantly in deals, you're not really making the money that you think you're making. Period.
For sure. Yeah, thanks for that.
No worries. Cool. Any other questions, guys, before we wrap up here?
I do. Okay, I'm sorry. The numbers part of me has kicked in. So the 60K entry fee that you're talking about, is that include closing costs?
That's including everything, tax, tag, and title out the door. That's my upfront acquisition, cash to close. That's
Okay,
my.
so 50,000 to convert into a
No,
PadSplit?
you got to realize it's not just the conversion. You have your holding costs. So I'm at like 3-4 months of holding costs,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
I'm at my cash to close for the property. I have to pay for furniture. I have to pay for a pad split renovation.
Right.
Any miscellaneous costs, like for me to go from, just so you know, guys, for me to go from that 3.2 into an 8.2, it was almost $20,000 just in pad split renovations.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. How much does it
I
cost?
was going to go into more of this tomorrow, right? But all right. I'm going to go more into that tomorrow. I'm going to save the question for tomorrow, but I'm at almost 20 grand for the renovation. I don't have the contractors that Jimmy has. He pays like, 10K,
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, it makes
But-
sense now. Okay.
But so just that alone, and then to me, furnish my rooms, I've got it down to as cheap as about $1,000 a room, roughly. But I'm going to go into all this more tomorrow, guys. So don't worry.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay, because I was wondering if it costs 50,000 to convert to a PadSplit, how are you going to pay for closing
Oh,
costs?
no. This is everything. My holding costs, my cash to close, my pad split renovation, my furniture, everything.
Perfect.
I really try to aim to be around 60. If I'm upwards of 75, okay. But I'm not like Jimmy, $120,000 in a house. That makes me, because remember, I want to spread my money wide as possible. It's all about velocity of money. How can we take that dollar and spread it as wide as possible?
Oh. You're amazing. Thanks, Javier.
You're welcome. Good to see you, by the way. Any other questions, by the way? Any other questions? Everyone, drop a 1 today if you think day 2 was super valuable, informative. Don't forget, please snap a shot of this. Tag me on your Instagram, Facebook, your TikTok, whatever you got. I'm on all platforms. The Real Javier Paredes. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, YouTube. We also dropped a couple videos in the side chat today on the for the projects that I've actually worked on in the past, which are on my YouTube channel. They live there. I'm going to be posting up more projects that I've actually worked on, and a ton more content is going up there. So thank you guys. I really appreciate everybody jamming out with me on day 2. I know it's super informative, a lot of information. Don't forget, we're doing a challenge and a giveaway for the people who are interactive, who are chiming in, asking questions, who have their cameras on, which there's a bunch of you guys today. I really appreciate it. Matt is on the back end. He's writing down names and making sure that we have these people, all you guys recorded. I really appreciate that. I think that's it. We're going to go ahead and close this out. Matt, do we have anything else at the moment? I don't know if he went out for a lunch break. He's probably like, man, Javier talks too long. Because there's so much to review, but no, he said we're good to go. So anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm going to jump out of here. Tomorrow's day 3. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 12 p.m. sharp. I'll see you guys on the other side.